Good evening and welcome to Stupid O'Clock News. I'm Lewis Lee. A 30-year-old Texas woman is behind bars for trespassing on a middle school campus, posing as a student. Her 13-year-old daughter. Casey Garcia of San Elizario, Texas, was arrested after a staff member identified her as a parent rather than a student at the school. Several social media posts seem to confirm the incident. Garcia was heard to say during her arrest, "I'll bet that little bitch Judy Selinsky narked me out." Garcia's daughter is just hoping that mom finishes her social studies homework while cooling her heels in the county joint. That's the news. Let's start the show.
Hey, okay.
Hey.
Oh, that's interesting. How's everybody doing tonight?
So far, so good. Got my router all set up.
And Dan's muted. And John's just being quiet.
Yes.
You're muted, Dan.
Bugger
There you
that.
go.
I'm as loud as anybody else.
And one programming to note, in about an hour and 10 minutes, we are going to sort of shift away from Stupid O'Clock to Armchair Rocket Science.
Is that going to be an official shift or is it just, I'm blacked out?
Yeah, you're lagging up real bad.
This is not good.
No,
I
it's
thought
not.
I thought that was my signal for a minute, but now that you know what it is.
And John
Hey,
Hines is
John.
saying, "What's up, Dan?" But Bill Sartain jumped in here was the first one commenting in, saying good evening. And Carly Carleen says, "Hey guys." And then there's the great Carl Whitzman. Hey Carl. And thank you for sharing on the Facebook page, Bill.
If I may. John, I'm sorry I can't type a reply to you, but if I do, it'll come out on every single page because I've got ops here. So just thank you for joining.
Oh,
And
that John. No, other John. Okay.
the other John. Yeah, John Hines.
Hi, John Hines.
Welcome. Look, everything was fine with Lewis till we went live. He is full froze.
Is he?
Well, he's not full froze, but he is doing a max headroom here, like I used to do back when I had the really slow computer. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris. I have no clue.
Looks like Lewis's is getting better though.
Yeah, it's back in focus.
Yeah.
Well, I'm checking my internet speed.
It's still locking up. But.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got my speed lowered, so I have not.
Hi, Skunk.
Messing up. Hey, Skunk.
What?
Happy birthday to you too.
I just want to let everybody in the chat know that I'm number one.
Believe me, in my day, number one or number two wasn't anything you wanted to aspire to be.
It's Gremlins. It's Gremlins.
When 900% of the fucking bullshit that has gone on with today. I don't
Shows
even
my
want to get into
upload
it.
speed is 200 megabits.
I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it. I just
Wow.
want to say, you know what? I'll say a nice thing to you, Joe. I will say a nice thing to you.
That'll be a first.
Hey, fuck you.
See?
Hey,
That was nice.
No. Yeah, Joe, do you like Mexican food?
Some, yeah.
You need to go over to Taco Town. Now, I'm going to say this. You need to go over to Taco Town in Hickson.
Next to Electronics Express.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been there.
No, they used to be up there by across from Burger King.
Okay, well, they're over there. I mean, saying they're next to Electronics Express is kind of a misnomer. They're technically more next to Planet Fitness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Same complex, though. Let's not be assholes. Really, oh my God, it was so fucking good.
Oh, yeah, they're very good.
Such the best damn good food. So good. Here's the problem. They're so damn expensive.
You ought to check out
Oh
Lost
my
Marine.
God.
You ought to check out
Well, I was just gonna say, me and Joe went in there, and I told Joe keep it cheap, and I still wound up having to pay a $40 fucking tab.
Yeah. Chill down on the language because we're on a bunch of channels and we're on dance channels too.
All I ordered was a quesadilla and some cheese dip. Admittedly, it was chorizo cheese dip, so it was a little expensive. All he ordered was a burrito and 2 tacos, and it was $40. Yep. That's not including a tip.
Well, you might want to try out Los Morientes across from Tire Discounters by Walmart.
And don't be telling me to try out any more Mexican food. It's expensive. I ain't got the budget for that, brother. But no, Taco Town's really good. And it was, I was sitting there, I was just like, oh my God, this is so worth the money that I'm spending right now because this, as expensive as this is, really good food. Like just the best. Oh, so good. John, you ought to come up here sometime. Try out our Mexican. Apparently, you have to go north of the border to get better Mexican food than if you go south.
Apparently, you've not been to some of the restaurants down here.
Apparently, I have. I love me some Mexican food.
All right, Lewis, that's working better. What did you change?
I'll tell you this right now, John. I'll tell you this right now, John. Okay, you know the little Mexican restaurant there in Ringgold that's been there forever?
Yes.
You know, the one that's behind. Well, no, I mean the one that's behind Taco Bell. It's been there for like 30 years.
Yeah, the big one.
It's been there my whole life. Yeah, this place beats the shit out of that place.
And Skunk, we're also on Dan's pages, so we might want to chill the language just a little bit.
I don't have that many children.
I want to point this out. You've been going for Joe. Where'd you go? Okay, there you are. You've been going. I was on another live stream before I came here. That's why I'm delayed. I apologize. We've been going for 9 minutes, right? Yeah. I found out recently, once you go beyond a certain limit, which I believe is within the first, it's within the first 2 minutes, 120 seconds. Once you go beyond that, if you say any swear words, you don't get necessarily restricted. If you start your video off by saying swear words and stuff like that, you get restricted.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. The reason I found out about that was because there was a YouTube channel that I was watching where in the first like 30 seconds, the guy wanted to make a cum joke. And he said, I can't say that within the first 30 seconds because if I do, YouTube will block me. So I figure 9 minutes is good.
Yeah, well.
For a jizz joke.
Yeah, but I don't want to offend Dan's crowd.
Oh, do you not know the people that Dan is friends with? He's friends with people like me, Joe. And Fritz. Fritz loves a good. Well, okay, I'm not gonna go there.
Bill Sartain has some cool show and tell stuff when we have time, and Dan would love it. Okay,
sure.
Bill Sartain is somebody that I gave him a ton of props. Yes.
Oh yeah, somebody I highly respect.
Of course, Chris is throwing out, the great
every Mexican restaurant he can name
in Dalton.
In Dalton. Yeah, well, if you want to come to Athens, Georgia, go to Taco Stand. That's the only recommendation I can give you.
I will say, if you live in the Chattanooga area, like Amigos is a chain, right? Yeah. In the Chattanooga area, obviously Amigos is neat. You're not going to be able to it's not like Del Taco. You can't throw a rock in any city and hit an Amigos like you could Taco Bell. But Amigos is a chain. They're okay, right? And the same with El Masan. There's a couple of different El Masan locations. What I like about Taco Town is there's only one. It's Taco Town. That's it. When you have a family-grown Mexican restaurant, that's when you know you're getting really good stuff. Okay.
Well, that's what I like.
When it becomes a chain, and every chain has to have exactly the same BS as all the other locations, That's when you get into, okay, it's good. It has Mexican flavoring, but it's not going to be as good as the original. That's my problem with Taco Bell. Once you go to, and I love Taco Bell, don't get me wrong. For the price, it's great. But when you have real deal, actual Mexican food, Taco Bell just does not suffice. It just doesn't. All there is to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I like about Los Borealis, across from the tire discounters. They're also a carnicia.
So you go in there and just buy your groceries there?
I don't speak of the language, but that's like a grocery store?
Yeah, grocery store.
Supermercado, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Los Cardiacina is a grocery store. They got a couple of them in downtown. I've been in them, and you know what's really sad? Right? They're always, like, whenever you find a really good, like, Mexican grocery store, right? They're always in, like, the worst areas. And I don't mean that, like, in it's the crime-ridden area or whatever. No, they're just in the worst traffic areas. They're hard to get in and out of. They're so cramped that you have to, like, they only have, like, 9 parking spots. You pull in and you have to wait like 25 minutes to be able to park because somebody else is getting groceries, right?
We've got one nearby. It's got a restaurant on one end, a gas station in the middle, and the supermercado on the other end. And it's got like 20, 35 so parking lots, plus parking lot for big rigs in the back. And it is always packed. Either the restaurant is busy, or people are buying their groceries, or folks are going into the gas station and getting whatever they need.
Down here in Chattanooga, I bet anything Lewis knows what I'm talking about. The Los Carriases that's over there, and it's over there by the Chattanooga. Lewis, you know which one I'm talking about?
Market, Broaden, Maine.
Broaden, Maine.
Yeah. That one, it's got like 9 parking spaces. They've got amazing food. It's pretty much like a bodega, except like a very large bodega, right? But all they sell is like Mexican food. The best chorizo in Chattanooga is sold there, and you've got like 9 parking spaces, and you can tell it's a really good Mexican restaurant because nobody there speaks English. Or not restaurant, grocery store.
Well, there's a restaurant around the corner.
There's a restaurant around the corner.
There's one. There's one in East Ridge on Ringgold Road, right next to the Food Lion there, and I think it's an old bank building or something like that.
Yeah, I know which one you
gotta go to get off.
I've never been to that one.
If you're ever making Mexican food, go in there because they got everything. You can get banana leaves.
I keep telling dipshit that lives with me. I'm like, dude. We've got to get some more chorizo. We've been going with this American chili for far too long. We need to get some chorizo in here. I'm a big fan of chorizo. I love chorizo. Chorizo is like my favorite thing. William's muted. I don't know if he knows that.
He knows it because his kids are in the background. His kids were in the background having fun, and he wasn't.
Joe was there on the green room the other night. Who was that had their kids going ham in the background? There's the person you said looked like
Marty.
Yeah, it looked like Marty.
She looked too much like Marty.
I know. That's why I said to you, I was like, don't put dirty thoughts in my head.
Well, Marty's married now, so.
Hey, I was being polite. Are you done, Scott? Are you done? You've been on a tangent, man. So, I didn't want to interrupt you going on your little roll and everything.
One second. Well, Joe, that didn't stop Marty before, and you know it.
Yeah, well, it does.
She is a polyamorous person, and I believe in her current relationship, she's still poly. She's just a little more picky.
Yes, that would be.
I can't speak for her. William, what were you saying?
I was just waiting on you, man. I was just being polite, because you were on your roll. You were on your little tirade, and it's all good, man.
I'm always on a tirade. You know that. You can interrupt me whenever the hell you want. Go ahead.
Oh, I got nothing. I'm just sitting here chilling. See, I got my gin and tonic. It's all good.
Yeah,
no malaria for you.
I'm low, so I need to go to the kitchen.
Take a break for a few minutes.
I made
That's
a
Joe's
pot.
way of saying, please go away.
I made a pot of seafood gumbo today.
Oh, really?
Garbage.
Sounds
And
good.
it
How long did it
must
take you to
have
make
been
the
really
roux?
good because I'm out of beer.
Must be really good. Yeah.
John, how long did it take you to make the roux?
About an hour.
Okay.
I was born in Biloxi.
I know, but there are people who'll turn that fire up and make a roux in 15 minutes, and it's going to taste like crap. But the longer you spend on the roux, and what color is your roux when you're done?
Butternut squash.
I go to a dirty penny.
You know, I like it a little darker too. I say butternut squash.
Dark roux is a richer flavor. I've got some leftover seafood gumbo in the freezer right now. I have been itching to thaw out, and I might just do it tomorrow night.
Okay. All right, y'all are killing me because our stove tried to kill us today.
Oh, really?
Why did you try to kill you?
Wait, that's not the one that I gave you, huh?
Yeah. It went into self-cleaning mode while we were gone.
Oh, no.
I came home and the house was 97 degrees inside.
Whoa.
Now, you've got to physically pull that lever over to make that thing go into self-cleaning mode.
Both. The switch shorted out.
That ain't good.
Both burners were running for over 5.5 hours.
Oh, I don't want your electric bill.
What kind of flooring do you have in the kitchen?
Vinyl floor.
Wow.
Wait, okay, where the hell is Skunk? Because I can still hear him.
Hang on just a second.
Oh, he's at your house?
No.
We got him muted.
But Dan can mute him now.
Yeah.
Where
the hell is he? I don't see him, but I can hear him.
Yeah. He just stopped his camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Joe was the one that pulled the mute down. I couldn't get the mouse slow enough to. We have so many people; it's hard to scroll down that far now.
But yeah, the switch shorted out and cut both on high.
Oh man!
So I need a new stove. I had to throw the breaker.
Stoves, dude.
Yeah.
You might want to pull that stove out and double check your flooring to make sure it didn't melt, depending on what's there.
Yeah. Well, I had to throw the breaker to shut it off. So I'm in the market for a new stove now.
As long as you're not in the market for a new house, everything's good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get another ceramic top. I've got a ceramic top now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get another one. They're too hard to keep looking right, and you're limited. I can't use my most of my cast iron pots. I can't use on it because they'll scratch it. I've got a one enamel coated cast iron pot that I can use on it.
I'll have to tell Lindsay about that in case the one that she wants to get is a ceramic.
Just get the classic top.
What for dinner?
I would just get a regular electric stove.
Yeah.
No, Skunk. Joe was telling us his stove tried to kill them today. So
I'm not surprised. I'm literally. I would imagine that if knowing Joe specifically, that if he went to go make toast in the morning and the toast tried to murder him, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, the stove, the knob shorted out, cut the upper and lower burner on while we were gone.
Yeah.
You know, the house was 98 degrees when we got inside.
It's the temperature inside your mouth, according to the Listerine commercials.
Yeah.
Well,
Carlene says she loves her ceramic top stove, but then I'm not the cook. Lewis is.
But Carly, I did find out that those cast iron pots work great on the top of that Blackstone griddle.
yes, they would. Cast
And I
iron
can
on cast
control the
iron.
temperature on that one better.
if I had my let's see who the chef and everybody is, right? If you had your choice, hi John. If you had your choice, right? What type of stovetop would you have?
Well, if I had my choice, I would have a gas, but we don't have gas out here in Rossville.
That's
we don't
what
have
I mean.
gas.
That's what I mean. 100% what I mean, Lewis.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I learned to cook on gas, and it took me a long time to adapt to electric.
William.
That's you.
Yeah. What?
Leave the question.
No, I asked the
That's for
question.
electric.
Yeah, the question was if you could have any type of stovetop, money, no object. You could have any type of stovetop. What would you have?
Wood fired.
John?
Both. If money's no object.
Both. You have multiple options than both.
Yeah.
There's gas, wood, electric, and then there's like multiple different kinds of electric. You have induction and you have
I can't have induction because of the
what's the other
yeah.
one called, Lewis? Because you have the induction and then you have the one with convection. Yeah, there we go. So there's more than just both.
I'd have an electric stove and a gas stove.
Okay.
I've got a gas.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You'd have one of each.
Right.
But you don't care which types of open flame versus non-open. Open flame versus no flame is what you're saying. Essentially is what you're saying.
Well, I'd have one gas stove for doing certain things, and then I'd have an electric stove for certain things because sometimes electric's just more convenient.
But what kind of electric stove would you have? Would you have induction?
I'd probably go for ceramic.
Ceramic, okay. Dan?
Since we're total electric, I don't have that much of a choice. There's no available gas here unless I want to go to bottle gas, and then it would be outside with the charcoal and the wood fire and everything else. But,
again, we're saying money, no object. You can make whatever happen.
I don't know what the ceramic is.
The glass top stove.
Ceramic is a glass.
Glass top stove.
Okay,
yeah.
it's still an electric.
You don't see the eye.
It's an electric,
just a
but
circle drawn on the ceramic.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I have currently, and
I would have the standard, but rather large electric stove and oven in the house, and wood fire, coal fire, and propane outside in the barbecue pit.
Joseph.
Honestly, if I could afford it, a Coleman stove.
You can't afford a Coleman stove.
I've got one in my basement, dude.
I keep
You were
not the propane Coleman, the gas Coleman.
the real deal.
Oh, wait, propane is a gas. You don't blow smoke up my ass. What are you talking about?
No, Coleman.
Well,
fuel
there's
is
a
not-
slight
is
difference
not
between
propane.
natural gas and LP.
Okay.
And I want the Coleman fuel. Something about food cooked on a Coleman stove just tastes better.
I'll tell you guys right now.
He's
You're
talking about real
the
camping gear.
pump it up Coleman fuel.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
See what I'm talking about.
You're showing your age now, man.
See, I'll tell you what kind of stove that I like. Specifically stovetop. I don't know anything about ovens, but stovetop, what I like is a flat top. That's what I like. And it don't matter to me, gas or electric. I prefer electric because the whole entire top gets heated all at once as compared to with a gas fuel. It heats in four corners and is really weird because you get hot and cold spots. But that's the kind of stovetop I prefer. A Blackstone, full flat top, electric. That's what I like. The reason being is I used to work in a Philly cheesesteak shop, and I like having that full flat top grill. That's what I like. The same way that they do it like Waffle House and Steak Escape, Charlie's Grilled Subs. That style. That's what I like to do. I like to cook that kind of food. That's the kind of food that I like to cook. That's just me. I'm very American. I'm very, Midwestern. That's what I like, So if you give me that kind of stovetop, that's why I'm going to be sitting there with I've got my spatula and my scraper, and I'm going to be sitting there and making you Philly cheesesteaks. That's what I do.
I've got a 36-inch 4-zone flat top on my back deck. Yeah, that's
that
nice.
right there. That right there. Yeah, give me both of them. Give me both of them because I like the fact that the left side is going to be better for my pastas and stuff, and the right side is going to be better for my meats.
The only thing that's missing is a pot filler faucet.
Who posted that up? Oh, is that John?
Just to the left within the working triangle of the kitchen.
John, you need to stop. You need to stop posting stuff like that, or this conversation is going to become M-rated.
Of course, John Pica just posted up that he does haunted tours in downtown Nashville, and he says it's insane. He's never seen that many people out. Like outside of the 4th of July or Stanley Cup. And he says it's easily 50,000 people.
Are you?
Cabin fever, man.
I think that I literally think that's what it is because I will tell John right now, and I think John knows this, that anytime that you go downtown Nashville for a Preds game, it doesn't even matter if this is Stanley Cup. Those streets are going to be packed. Holy crap. I've been to like 3 Preds games, and every time I've been down there, it's like it was Stanley Cup. They had Stanley Cup attitude for the home games. Even if it wasn't Stanley, they weren't even in the playoffs.
Well, listen, have you heard also what may be happening up in Nashville?
Well, I've heard a lot of things. I mean, the bar hopping buses are back in business now.
No, sports-wise.
Sports-wise? No.
Sports-wise. How about the Nashville Athletics?
The Nashville A's.
Oakland's losing their MLB team?
It's
Oakland is Oakland is wanting a new stadium.
Yeah.
And the city of Oakland's going, no. So MLB has gave the Athletics permission to shop around, and Nashville goes, hey!
Look at me!
The Nashville A's?
Yeah.
The Nashville A's. Hey, I like the sound of that myself. I would like to root for another team that isn't Chicago. I root for enough Chicago teams. If I've got 2 in the MLB, I can root for another. Screw that. I corrected myself, Joe, just for you. Screw the Atlanta Braves.
I live in Georgia. I'm right there with you.
well, you've heard the saying, Dan. Go Braves and take the Falcons with you.
I say it frequently, believe me.
Damn, y'all are cruel today. Towards sports teams that make more money than we ever will.
Hey, there are all kinds of people who make more money than I ever will, and I'm not jealous much.
Hey, Dan, don't you dare. Those people don't deserve money.
They do.
They're just good at it. They're just good at a game that people like me and Dan used to play for fun. Me and Dan are hardworking men. We deserve more money than somebody who can hit a ball really hard.
Dan, I'm leaving you in charge. Keep Skunk in line. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Oh, where did I put that whipping chair?
Don't you dare. I'll take the shirt off.
And now that we have the girls' interest, did he do that himself?
Wait,
I didn't.
did you?
I didn't
You
throw
take
you
me
out.
off the air.
I didn't do that.
No, I'll fuck you up. You dare take me off the air.
Oh, heavens. Well, now that we have the ladies' interest.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want the ladies' interest?
Stay seated.
Oh, no, I'll stay seated. I'll just give everybody an opportunity to visit the gun show.
Uh-huh.
There we go. Yeah, see, John got up.
I know how to give a woman exactly what she wants.
$100 bills.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that works sometimes.
Damn. Hey, John, I don't want to know what kind of ladies you're messing around with.
Let's put it this way: you only have to give them the bills one at a time. Okay.
Oh, I thought they were
John?
giving them to you.
I sold the RV.
Yes. Congratulations.
I put it on Facebook Marketplace.
The hell is going on over here?
Sold in 2 hours.
Do you guys see this?
Okay. Guy brought cash.
Wow, again.
Went to his bank. Bank didn't have enough hundreds. All 20s and 50s. The stack of money was this thick, man.
You got a briefcase full of bills, dude.
Well, it wasn't quite a briefcase, but it was definitely more than my pockets could hold.
Well, hey, you know,
I've got
mean,
a lot of pockets.
Yeah, I had cargo pants. It was still too much.
Wow.
I've had this wallet for a really long time because it's a wallet that's made out of canvas, right? And it's not a leather wallet; it's a canvas wallet, and this wallet has lasted me so long. It's lasted me. This is how long my wallet has lasted. I'm not gonna give you a full look because of
Do you have a
potential
Blockbuster
dangers.
video card?
I was
I
about to say
used to years ago. I'm gonna cover up part of this, but you can see like it's lasted so long, stuff's falling through it. You can see my my social security card is falling through my wallet. There's no good way of showing that off.
All right, I got it. I'm back. Did anybody post up what John Pica posted?
None of us did. We were waiting for you to come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Said something. We're definitely
sure
the
back
nation's city right now. U-Haul is reporting the number one-way trips are California to Nashville. Amazon is building a new corporate headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know that. Oracle is building a new corporate head. Alliance Bernstein just moved. Wow. And this is the one I like. He says that he loves the city, but it's getting too big and too crowded. He's thinking Chattanooga is more his speed.
Hey, it's a
Come
beautiful
on
place.
down. Hey, John, we would love to have you. In fact, if I could, if I could say this, if I could hang out with John Pica every single weekend, hey, plus in my book.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could hang out with Bill Sartain, since apparently he's a Cubs fan.
There's a house across the street from me that's going up for sale.
Hey, the fuck was that?
Sorry, my stomach growled.
I think that was Bill
Your stomach
Williams.
barked.
That was Williams' puppy dog.
That was
Saying
a dog.
how-
Hey, you know what? No, I have no hate for puppers. So let them bark all they want. I just was confused at what the noise was because that was very weird. I don't want to. You know what? I don't want to hate on the. I don't want to hate on the A's at all. They're fantastic. They've always been a fantastic team. Obviously, they're no Chicago Cubs. White Sox, whatever, but they're a Chicago team. I have to support them by law, but if the A's want to come to Nashville, it just makes it so that I have a local team I can support. That's not the Braves, who I could give two craps about. In fact, as far as local teams go, obviously I live here in Chattanooga. Yes, I'm from Chicago. I live here in Chattanooga. I have to support the Lookouts, but they're what is it, quad A, triple A? I don't know. They're not
AAA.
in the they're not in the same zeitgeist as the major league teams that we see on television every week. But I'll still go down there occasionally and watch. Outside of the pandemic, I've gone there and I've seen at least one Lookouts game every year for the past decade, because I have a buddy of mine. We used to go every year. Then the pandemic happened and we didn't go last year, and we haven't gone this year.
Well, I'll tell you, the Lookouts, for the money, the Lookouts is the best baseball you can go watch.
I mean, the tickets are affordable and it's a really nice stadium. I mean, I actually preferred Engel, but
oh yeah,
I understand.
If you want to go down there and if you want to watch baseball and just watch baseball, and now I'm not being a jerk about this. If you want to go watch baseball and just watch baseball, right? I don't think your experience gets any better than going to go see the Lookouts. Now, obviously, I preface that by saying I don't know. I've never been to any other games in that minor league baseball sort of, the AAA. Like when I was living up in Knoxville, I never went to go see the Bears play at all. I literally went to go. I never went to a baseball game when I was up in Knoxville. I never did. I've only gotten to see the Lookouts and Little League games. That's been it. And the Little League games, when I say I went to go see Little League games, what I mean by that is I played in Little League games and I sucked. I was a good second baseman. It was the only thing I was ever good at. That's right. I was good at being the middleman. If you want to hire me for your middle management, I'm very good at that. I'm not good at being the top or the bottom. It's what makes me a horrible furry.
Oh yeah, and actually, John, one of the greatest ejections of professional baseball happened down here at the Lookout Stadium. Do you remember that one, Lewis?
Oh yeah. Threw a resin bag.
Yeah.
Like a grenade. That was awesome.
Were you there or just seen the video?
No, but I was working TV at the time, and our sports guy came in waving the tape saying, "Y'all gotta see this." So we all gathered in the edit bay and all watched it, and we're like, "I gotta show that in its entirety. If nothing else, if you don't see one other score for any other sport, you got to show that all the way through."
And Lewis, you remember that thing we've talked about multiple times? You and I have talked about.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this right now. If things don't change Monday, and I'm talking like I'm serious, like Monday, like if they don't change, you're going to get a PM from me. We got to make that happen, because I don't want to say too much because this is a public live stream. I'm just going to say that some people have pushed me too far.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm ready. Honestly, at this point, if things don't go back to the way that they're supposed to be, come Monday, I'm ready to get out of manual labor.
All right. Well, I mean,
I can get you a job with the city.
Did
I
you
said
guys know
manual
that we
labor.
taped live for the launch?
Somebody beat me for saying that. Good God, what the hell's wrong with
Well,
me?
Joe, I would drive over there, but this broadcast has been brought to you by Natural Light.
What'd you say, William?
The launch time.
Launch time is at 12:29. We'll drop off one of the channels at 12:15 and start Armchair Rocket Science.
Well, SpaceX just went live with their feed.
They went live with Mission Control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, we don't care about mission control.
Hey, we can what we can do is Dan, did you have a successful test run with your BS?
Yeah.
What, 3.5 hours?
Well, I wasn't there. I was hammered.
The test run went fine.
And I don't mean drunk. I mean work kicked my ass so fucking bad that I couldn't show up. But what's what I mean is that if midnight rolls around and you gotta go, Joe, we can all pile over. Anybody that wants to stay to just BS with each other rather than watch.
I'm just going to run it off this. I'm just going to piggyback here.
Yeah. Joe's going to do Armchair Rocket Science here.
I then given the option.
If necessary for the after show, then we can launch that on my stuff from here. We did that Thursday night, and it worked really well.
And we didn't talk about. I just want to point out, by the way, I didn't talk to Audrey. About
thanks for dropping by, John. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John. Good night, man. I didn't talk to Audrey about nothing the other night. Remember I was saying we were doing. I said this in the green room.
That's the wrong way to say it.
Yeah, really.
Sorry about that.
That one's British. I mean, you don't have that accent, so. Yeah, but
wait, what?
What we covered in the green room, Skunk, ought not to be here in the.
No. Talk about something completely different, not that thing.
John said, "Have a good night," and I went, "You too." And I said, "Wait, no, that, because that's not a good thing to say."
It might be. Depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, hey, with this crew, this is a term of endearment right here. Well, maybe not Lewis. Lewis doesn't know. Lewis
I would not take any bets on what Lewis knows or does not know.
Lewis is not a crackhead.
Very savvy fellow.
Joe and John know what, and Joe, John, and Dan, and possibly William know what I mean by crackhead. But no, not that thing from the green room. The other thing I was saying in the green room when I was talking to you about the show and about Scrubhouse Video Club and why we haven't come back yet. I didn't have an opportunity to talk to Audrey about it. Last night we watched those movies, and after I got through the first, it was literally near the end of the Leprechaun in the Hood, and I was just going, I cannot stay awake. Like, I have to go to sleep like right now because I kept nodding off the keyboard. I said to him, I was like, I'm not sticking around for this other movie. So I went to bed, and I was planning on talking about Audrey about it tonight, but then I ended up sleeping for like 6 hours. So I don't know.
Well, you've been working yourself way too hard, but then you've got to.
This is the first Saturday I've had off in a month. I didn't have anything to do today. So I spent it, we went to Taco Town. We ate like pigs. I came back. I slept like a mofo. And then after that, I jumped on a live. I wasn't on a live stream. I was part of a live stream. I wasn't actually on it. Like, I wasn't physically on it. A live stream where we played some Jackbox games. And then after that, I came here. So once we finish up this, I'm going to go I'm probably going to continue to get drunk. and then pass out, wake up, and do some more video editing, and then I'll do some more video editing, and then I've got tomorrow we've got a birthday party at TWE, and then maybe I go work out up in Athens.
And next Sunday you've got a staff meeting in Dalton.
That's a lie.
Well,
thank you for letting me know now, Joe. I appreciate it.
Shall return.
Yeah, I didn't know about that, Joe. Thanks for letting me know. Are we actually going to be live in person?
In person.
Okay, I will be there. I will make sure that happens. Actually, give me 1 second. Hold on for a minute. You might hear some yelling in a minute, and I apologize for that.
We'll just mute you.
Thank you.
All right. I think they just said they're polling. I don't know if they said go with fueling or not. Okay, y'all keep talking. I'm chasing streams right now.
For those of you who don't know, there is going to be a SpaceX launch tonight. They're launching a Falcon 9 rocket. They're putting a new SiriusXM satellite into orbit. So you get to listen to, like more talk show hosts from California.
I would like it if the new SiriusXM satellite had a more northerly latitude orbit, because I go downtown Chattanooga and I'm going along what is that, Cherokee Boulevard?
Yeah.
And I get behind one of those apartment buildings and I lose my signal.
Oh, yeah. the new super tall apartment buildings they put in.
Well, it's not super tough. 4 stories, man.
Well, for
should not block SiriusXM, and we're farther south in New York. Could you imagine? I bet you SiriusXM is worthless in New York City, with all the tall buildings blocking the signal. And I've been listening to the radio shows, the old 1930s, 40s, and 50s radio dramas.
Yeah.
Man, I've been listening to the heck out of those. They are awesome.
Lewis, I have a conspiracy theory about that.
No conspiracy. They're above the equator, so
I have
the farther north you get.
I have a conspiracy theory about that. I really do. Or you want to hear my conspiracy theory or not?
Yeah.
Check this out, right? Because of how that broadcasting technology, or not broadcasting, but rather receiving technology works, I believe, right? And specifically because I've seen how the signals from satellite dishes in the major cities have worked in the past. That with XM radio, because you're having to move all the time, as compared to you set a satellite dish and you just let it go, that XM or Sirius, one of the two, and that's why they had that big merger back in the day, a few years ago, was because one of them figured out that broadcasting over something that wasn't satellite from space was a better alternative. They're doing terrestrial radio, but in a different way, was a better alternative than to actually try to fight with the skyscrapers of New York. Opened up a bigger market for them. I truly believe that. I truly believe that because I've seen XM radio in person. XM radio works fantastic. XM Sirius specifically, when they merged, works fantastically in Chicago.
I found an answer to your problem, Lewis. Sirius 7 failed on them, and it's that's what this one is. It's supposed to fix that problem.
Okay.
So
they had a hole in their coverage.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense because it wasn't a problem a few years ago.
Yeah.
Oh well, I was
not like it is now.
I think that I really do think this, right? When I was staying in Chicago, this is back in 2004-ish, right before I graduated high school. I was staying with my aunt. Right, okay, it's my dad's aunt. I was staying with my dad's aunt, and they had satellite TV. But their satellite dish had to be mounted on top of the building. It had to be put at a certain angle. And sometimes they couldn't get certain channels. And it would say that you're experiencing a connection issue because of weather, but it would be a clear sunny day. It was literally just because at that time period, the satellite couldn't connect because it just happened to be when there was a gigantic building in the way, like, for example, Willis Tower, right? The Sears Tower, for you older folks who don't know that the name got changed. Stuff like that would happen, right? And it was a constant issue. And I truly believe that, because when me and my dad went up there with our XM Sirius radio, and this was, of course, after the merger had happened, one of them had figured out a way to make it where, no, your radio would always connect to something, no matter where you were in the city. And I started thinking, I was like, you know what would make that work? If they had a terrestrial signal feedbacking on that, to where if you did lose signal somehow, it would be like, oh no, we have a backup that's lower
tower.
Exactly. It might be a lower quality signal, but it would be able to pick up where your high quality signal fails. The same way how, like, if you're listening to something online, like on YouTube, for example, YouTube has the high quality version, but if you don't have a strong signal to your Wi-Fi or your cellular signal or whatever, you get a low quality version.
Okay. With satellite radio, it would be more possible, not likely. It would be more possible to have a terrestrial backup because of the design of the antennas. Now the antennas are little stubbies. They're not dishes. They're not unidirectional. They are not focused. They're little stubby antennas on the roof of the car. And so if you were transmitting at the proper frequency, which is in the gigahertz range, about 2.5 gigahertz, no, 2.7 gigahertz, then you could receive terrestrial broadcasts through your satellite antenna. It would be impossible to do that for TV service because those antennas are highly focused, unidirectional, with LNAs, low noise amplifiers, pointed specifically at the bird they are receiving from. They're not going to get anything. You could have a satellite 10 feet away broadcast, it ain't going to hear it unless it's directly in front of it. Okay. And as far as talking about weather outages, yeah, it may have been a nice sunny day and they said there's weather. Remember, they're also talking about solar weather. If there's a sunspot, if there's an ejection, any number of factors with the sun that interfere with the ionosphere and interfere with satellite communications. Direct broadcast satellite, DBS, is just barely powerful enough. The FCC went back and forth on the power levels that they could broadcast because, quite frankly, of our physical exposure to it. So to get the dishes small enough, remember, satellite TV started out with an 8-foot dish or even bigger.
12.
To get the antennas small enough to where they could put them on every house in the country, they really had to boost the power as far as they could without going over the FCC limit. But it's still not really strong enough. So if you got sunspots, if If there's bad weather at the transmission site, remember, satellite broadcasts don't originate in space. They have to be uplinked from the ground first. There were a lot of times where when I was running the satellite truck for Channel 12, I would get to a situation where it was sunny in Chattanooga, but it was pouring down rain at the hurricane that we were trying to cover. And they're bitching back at Chattanooga, well, your signal's kind of spotty. Yeah, I'm shooting through a mile of clouds and rain and wind. By the way, the dish is going like a big sailboat.
It's raining sideways.
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you have an umbrella? No, I had one. Where is it?
It's now a sail.
5 miles that way is sideways.
It's in
Would
Texas.
you like to do anything?
I'm in Mississippi.
Bring me some soup.
For direct broadcast satellite, lots of things can go wrong.
And also another thing is in the spring and in the fall, in the geosynchronous orbit, the sun, as the Earth does its tilt, the sun is behind the satellite, drowning out the satellite.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
it's entirely possible.
There's an awful lot of signal coming off of a star. Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's possible. I'm not saying that's. I'm saying that there is a backup. There's a backup signal out there. There has to be.
William got tired and went to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was nodding off in the chair. He said,
"Don't say it that way. That's mean."
No, that's what he said.
Yeah. He's sleepy. He needs his beauty sleep.
When you fell asleep on the air.
Yeah. Remember the thermonuclear bomb alerts that you tried to wake me up with?
We tried.
All you really needed was anagram.
And Carly said Carl's already gone to bed on us. So Carl's going to miss the lunch.
It's midnight. So I mean,
Carly's unsupervised.
That is not unusual. I don't think anybody's ever been able to supervise Carly.
Yeah, they're always in separate rooms anyway. So
no, that's not true. That's not true. I've seen them in a room together.
Okay,
I saw them in a room together. During the drunken rant. During the drunken rant, I saw them in a room together, and it blew my mind because that was the first time I'd ever seen that.
Well, during Helicon, they same roomed a lot.
Well, that doesn't count.
Well, they are married. They are allowed to use the same room occasionally.
That is a lie, and you know that is a lie, and you know it.
Well, we have prop load.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
All right.
So we will have a lunch.
Do we have a drop?
They don't do that Cape Canaveral unless they're really going to go up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boca Chica, they write their own rules, but
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the $1 million question: is how you want to do this thing.
We're going to drop. Is it your channel, Dan? Your Facebook page?
My personal Facebook page, but leave the Apelian page. Right?
Okay, we'll drop your Facebook page. Throw in Armchair Rocket Science, and then run the intro.
When are you going to get on Twitch?
When I click the button sometime.
You need to remember to do that because once you start getting on Twitch,
You'll never stop moving.
Well, I've had that problem since the vaccine anyway.
Hey. Let's not make fun of people with Tourette's. I have kids.
I have a former son-in-law with Tourette's.
I don't have kids, and I don't make fun of people with Tourette's. What the hell are you talking about?
My son has Tourette's.
Your son's...
He does.
Don't get me started about your son.
Oh, you got a problem with my son? I got a ball bat. We can discuss this.
Your
And
son
I know where
doesn't
you
have
live.
Tourette. Your son doesn't have Tourette's. He's just your son. He learned it by watching you.
Of course, we had one guy at work who had Tourette's, and I'm sorry, I'm so mean. But he was one of those, if you're sitting there talking to him and you do like that, he'll about flip out of a chair. When somebody does a tick, he repeats it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I used to know, when I worked at
Lewis, you're gonna like this.
I used to work at a
good one, Bill.
We used to work at a company which shall not be named because screw them, and I don't want to give them any publicity, good or bad. And we used to have a guy that worked there that had Tourette's, and the thing was, at first, people were sitting there thinking he didn't really have Tourette's because he was one of those Tourette's sufferers who did the swearing thing with Tourette's, right? But he was consistent. He had 5 phrases, specifically 5 that he would say, and they were on a loop. They would come whenever he was talking. He would say them in a loop. When
you have a string out of his back?
Was specifically whenever he was talking. It wouldn't happen if he was being silent. As soon as you started talking, if it was time for one of those phrases to come up, so you could time it. And it was very interesting because it was something like every 20 minutes he would say one of them. And so we timed it very well. So whenever everybody was working there would hear him say one of those phrases, and we knew around which one it was they were saying, around which time. We timed it perfectly because we'd hear him and we'd be like, oh, okay, it's time for a break, or it's time for lunch, or it's time for whatever. It was pretty funny, actually.
I'll be right back.
And
my arthritis
not funny because he had Tourette's. It was funny because we could time it properly. Good dude. I like that guy. I hate that company.
So
which side are you going to bring up for the SpaceX launch, Jeff?
The one I just got shared up.
Which one?
It's SpaceX's page.
Well, I will not be joining you for that.
Okay.
Really? It's going to be a night launch.
No offense.
It's only in 24 minutes.
I'm not interested in the rocket science stuff as much as you guys are.
Let's hope that kicks in pretty soon because it hurts a lot to death.
What did you take some Tylenols?
Advil, Aleve. That's what is gentlest on my stomach for the amount of pain.
Aleve, gentle. Oh, tears me up.
Yeah. Well, we have different metabolisms, so different strokes for different folks.
I love the Tylenol Excedrin.
Yeah, every once in a while, my arthritis will kick in, and I have trouble opening and closing my hands, and my back feels like somebody's hitting me with a sledgehammer. And well, I'm an old guy. I mean, I've earned all this pain. I've worked my ass off all my life, so no big deal. I've had worse.
How long until the launch, Joe?
We're gonna
20-something minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna switch over at
12:10.
Yeah, about that. About 4 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I'm not particular. I mean, hey, yeah, I'm not saying anything's bad about it. This is not my interest.
Yeah.
It's just another fandom. That's all.
Yes, that's right, Joe. It's a fandom. It's a fandom,
science.
Joe.
It's science.
Mr. I don't subscribe to any fandom.
No, I follow the progress of the thing. I don't have my SpaceX spacesuit yet.
Yeah, well, okay. But I don't have a fursuit. I don't have a fursuit. I don't have a fursuit, Mr. Oh, you have to have a costume to be a part of a fandom. I don't have a fursuit. What are you talking about?
All right. We got to behave. Everybody watching on.
Am I not behaving?
Yeah, well, we're going to say goodbye to Dan Hollifield's channel. Thank you for tuning in. And we're getting ready to go to Armchair Rocket Science.
And if you're on my channel, you can always hop over to the Apelian channel or one of Joe's Facebook channels.
Stupid O'Clock.
And we'll keep going.
All right.
Armchair Rocket Science.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's kick this thing.
And we're clear of Dan's channel. John, if you would, go ahead and get the Armchair Rocket Science intro queued up and let me know.
Might help. I went to the Armchair Rocket Science page.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, that's pretty.
All right. When you see the Armchair Rocket Science logo appear in the row up top, hit play. You ready?
Yeah.
Look at that. Dan switched. He's in mission control now.
No, I'm in New Mexico
Go.
now.
At the VLA.
Oh, it didn't do stuff.
I have no idea what's going on.
That's just the GIF. Scroll down to beside the countdown.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Hey, everybody. Special edition of the Armchair Rocket Science in conjunction with another show that we run called Stupid O'Clock. We are... Uh-oh. That's still running in the background. Let's kill that. And go to the right. Yeah, there it is. We're getting ready for a launch of a SiriusXM number 8. The 8th satellite in their new constellation, launched by SpaceX on a Falcon 9 Block 5, booster number 1061. This is the third flight of this booster. It'd be the 12th flight under the SiriusXM corporation, and the turnaround on this booster is only 44 days since it last launched. This is the 18th SpaceX launch this year.
How many active boosters do they have in their fleet?
10,
Wow.
15. Of course, they just added a new one the other day with a brand new booster.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
I mean, it was a first flight. It was a brand new booster, and it was pretty. Of course, it's all dirty and sooty now.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't matter. This is a night launch. It's going to be pretty anyway.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be landing downrange with this one on the autonomous spaceport drone ship called Just Read the Instructions. They're doing a fairing recovery on used fairings. They'll be using Go Searcher and Go Navigator which are also the Dragon capsule recovery vessels.
So they've got some experience too.
Oh, yeah. Let me find some more things. They're launching from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station at launch pad Slick 40.
Is it Slick? I thought it was 39A.
39A is they've got
Command,
two. They've
right?
got two launch sites. 39.
No, I
and
thought
40.
this one was going up tonight on 39A.
No, that was 39A launched the Dragon capsule. And one of the reasons they use 39A for the station
gantry, right?
Because it has a gantry, and they can actually load
Right.
2 hours, put fresh stuff in 2 hours before launch. Okay,
Yay.
Chris.
All right, Chris.
Go, Chris.
Yeah, the cargo missions they can launch without a gantry because they don't need to get up to the capsule while it's on the pad.
Loaded.
All right. SpaceX is now live. So now I got to get these banners running.
Liftoff.
Falcon 9 has cleared the tower.
And the video today is from SpaceX's YouTube channel.
10,
To learn more about
9,
SpaceX, go
8,
to SpaceX.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, that's something I want to go down for. What you just heard and saw the two boosters landing,
Falcon
that
Heavy.
was a Falcon Heavy. I want to hear that double sonic boom.
Good evening. You're looking at a live view of Falcon 9 as it awaits its 12:26 a.m. Eastern
you
Time.
see, there's just a
liftoff
very
from
small
Space Launch
tower
Complex
next to
40
the
at Cape Canaveral
next to the
on
aircraft,
Sunday.
the spacecraft.
My name is Jesse Anderson, and I'm a
Jesse's
lead
back.
engineer
Gantry.
here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California.
That is mine and Heather's
where
favorite
it's still
SpaceX announcer
Saturday
right there.
evening. Welcome to our webcast for SXM.
If you don't mind, I'm going to go full screen. I won't be able to read comments.
They also mark SpaceX's 18th launch of 2021, and we're only halfway through the year and already have launched more than we did in 2019. If you're wondering if today's customer to the music provider, your guess would be correct. The satellite being launched today will enable SiriusXM's ability to provide users with satellite-powered audio radio services for at least the next 15 years. We'll share a few more details about today's payload.
Bottom right corner, Dan.
And as many of you likely know, across the world, June is LGBTQ plus Pride Month.
On the
here in the United States, Pride
the
Month
screen you're
commemorates
watching,
the 1969
the bottom right
Stonewall
corner of that
riots,
screen, you'll see the
widely
little
recognized
square.
as a catalyst for the gay
Mouse
rights
over it.
movement globally, and recognizes the impact LGBTQ plus people have had in the world.
Oh, okay.
Here at SpaceX, we have encouraged everyone to use this month and every month as a springboard to celebrate, learn, discuss, and reflect upon the ways these STEM, aerospace, and aviation fields have also benefited and advanced from the work of the LGBTQ plus community. And we encourage you to do the same. Before we take a closer look at the rocket on your screen, here's a quick breakdown of today's mission profile. Once Falcon 9 lifts off the ground in about 10 minutes from now, our first and second stages will separate at about 2.5 minutes into flight. The first stage will return back to Earth, and we will be attempting to recover it on our drone ship, Just Read the Instructions, for a third time. While that's happening, our second stage will continue on its journey. In order to get the satellite to its intended orbit, we will be igniting our Merlin vacuum engine twice today. Finally, the deployment of the SiriusXM satellite will occur at around T+31 minutes. On your screen is a live view of Falcon 9, our two-stage bipropellant vehicle. The Falcon 9 vehicle is about 70 meters or 229 feet tall, just slightly taller than the wingspan of a 747 aircraft. The
Republic parking building.
Is the first stage, which
this rocket is about
along
that
with the
tall.
Payload through the Earth's atmosphere out to space with the help of 9 Merlin engines. The first stage is also the part of the vehicle that we land back on Earth to be reflown over and over again. And like many of our missions this year, today's first stage is flying again. This is the third flight for this specific booster. Prior to today's mission, it supported 2 NASA Crew missions, Crew 1 in November of last year and Crew 2 in April of this year. Today, we will be attempting to recover the first stage on our drone ship. Just read the instructions. Stationed out in the Atlantic Ocean, you can see a live view from Just Read the Instructions on your screen.
An unmanned ship.
Yep.
At the top of the
Wow.
vehicle, on top of the first stage
642
is
kilometers
the black
downrange.
carbon fiber inner stage, and right above that
And
is the
SpaceX
Falcon
does
9
everything
second
on the
stage,
metric
which has a
system.
single Merlin vacuum or
I'm
MVAC engine.
guessing that
Now, once the first and second
the
stages
building at the
separate
end
at
of the
about
tracks
2.5
is
minutes
the
into the
assembly
mission,
building,
the MVAC
and
engine
the
will
rocket is
ignite
rolled
and
out
carry the
horizontally and
SXM-8
then stood
satellite
up
into
at the
an
end.
elliptical orbit
Yes.
around Earth. Now, at the
Just air
very
checking
top of
my
the rocket
reasoning.
is a composite structure, which we call the payload fairing. And that's what you see
And
right
on the
there
drone
your
ship,
screen.
that little
Today's
thing you
fairing
saw
will
at the
protect
end, there's a
SXM-8
little
satellite
robot
from
that they
aerothermal
have that
heating,
comes out,
aerodynamic loads, and contamination
rolls under
during
the
ascent.
rocket,
Once we reach the
orients
vacuum of
itself,
space, we
reaches
no
up
longer
and
need this
grabs the
protection, so
rocket,
we will jettison
and
the
then
fairing
electric
as the
magnets kick in
stage to orbit.
and sucks it
Today,
to
the
the
fairing halves
deck of
protecting
the
the
ship.
SXM-8
It's called
satellite are taking
octographer.
flight for the first time,
Wow.
and we'll be recovering them with our recovery vessels, Go Searcher and Go Navigator. Falcon 9 has
What
been
happened,
loading
the reason they
propellant
developed
since
that is because
2-35
once they
minutes,
get it out
and
there,
we use a rocket
and
grade
before
kerosene
the
or RP1,
crews
which
can
stands
get to
for
the
rocket
rocket to,
propellant 1,
chain it
as
down
our
or whatever,
fuel, and
if the
superchilled
seas were a
liquid
little
oxygen
rough,
or LOX
that
as
sucker
our
was dancing and
oxidizer to
walking
power
all over
Falcon
the
9.
Mhm.
deck.
Currently, RP1 and LOX are
Makes
nearly
And
fully loaded on both
and they
stages,
they
and LOX
have
will
come in
continue
and
to be
a
topped
leg
off
be
right
hanging off
until
the
the
edge
final
of the
minutes of the countdown.
barge.
If for some reason we do
Hmm.
not launch today, we have a backup launch opportunity available tomorrow at the same time. As of now, we're still in good standing for an on-time liftoff. The latest weather forecast is 70% favorable, and weather conditions look good for the booster recovery as well. Now, with that, the vehicle, satellite, weather, and range are all good to go for Falcon 9's 12:26
Chris,
a.m.
exactly.
liftoff from Space Launch Complex 40.
T-7. Oh.
If you're just tuning in, as we mentioned earlier, for today's mission, we're launching a high-powered digital audio radio satellite for SiriusXM known as SXM-8. We previously launched the SXM-7 satellite for SiriusXM last December. To learn more specific details about today's satellite, let's check out this video from the satellite's manufacturer, Maxar.
And I've got to mute that, I'm sorry, because of copyright.
Yep, go right ahead, as long as we don't get in trouble with the video.
Yep.
I love her hair. That's very bold.
Oh, yeah. At one time, she had it in a little bob, and it was purple.
Oh, very Jerry Anderson's UFO.
Just got word LOX load complete.
Okay.
So,
Liquid oxygen.
Yep.
Liquid oxygen. That would be stage 1 LOX load complete.
Well, we didn't think they were putting it on a bagel, you know.
Yeah.
I like Lox Bagel.
Lots of people do.
I
That's fine.
just prefer schmear.
And audio's
We
down.
are currently T-minus 5.5 minutes from liftoff, and Falcon 9 is now moving into the final stages of the countdown. Now, we're currently waiting for the transporter erector, the TE, to retract. That'll happen in about a minute from now, or just under a minute from now. The TE is the
And
white
Chris goes
painted
obviously
structure
pretty
that's
too,
positioned
yes.
right next to the vehicle.
Absolutely.
On your screen, it's to
Quite
the left
attractive
of
young
Falcon
lady.
9. As we prepare to transition into the final stages of the countdown, the TE clamps will open, and then the transporter erector will begin to retract away from the rocket slightly. And as the Falcon 9 lifts off at T0,
I had an erector
hydraulics
set
will
once.
pull the TE farther away, and that clears the way for Falcon 9's liftoff.
Okay, strong back
like we got a
retract. You'll actually
call
start
out
to see
to
those
start
clamps peel
opening up
out
those
from around the
clamps.
side.
Now, the TE provides liquids, gases, electrical connections to the second stage, as well as air conditioning to the payload fairing.
I wonder if the launch is going out on SiriusXM satellite radio.
More than likely.
Not likely.
I mean, really?
Back
Why would they
retract
miss a
sequence
chance
started.
to do that?
They don't really
And-
have a channel that would be appropriate for that.
Well, there goes
And
the
there you
arms.
can see on your screen those clamps that I mentioned earlier are opening up. Once those are fully open, then the TE can start to retract.
And that white thing on the top of it's actually a lightning rod.
Right.
That's a very thick lightning rod.
They've all if you'll notice, all the launch pads have these towers with those rods on top. They have 4 of them around the rocket.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it looks very, very slight, but that transporter erector is now starting to recline just slightly there, as I mentioned.
Oh, I've been reclined for hours, honey. It didn't go back very far. It will go back further.
Completes the strong back retract. Now, at this time, the first and second stages are both nearly fully loaded with 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen. And as the super chilled liquid oxygen, which is our propellant oxidizer, turns into gas as it meets the warmer, humid ambient air during loading, it forms those white clouds that you see around Falcon 9.
I imagine the lightning rods have to be that thick.
And there's that call out that LOX load is complete on the first stage. Now, for your awareness, second stage will complete LOX loading at T-minus 2 minutes.
I thought they already called that.
And at T-minus 60 seconds,
that was first stage.
Will begin startup.
First stage.
That means is the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers
Remember that
will
they
have taken over the
fuel
launch
it right up until they launch it.
just inside T-minus 2 seconds. We will light the Merlin M1D engines.
That's
to
why
get
the
set
tower
for
hasn't
liftoff.
rolled back yet.
With a few minutes left in the countdown, the SXM-8 payload continues to be healthy, and the Falcon 9 team is tracking no issues on the rocket. The surrounding ground, water, and airspace received its green
Chris, that's one of the issues right now.
So, with about
at
2
least with it
left,
at night, the
getting into
atmosphere
the final stages,
stabilizing.
Yeah, I was saying I thought they had to be that thick because of the actual strength of the kind of lightning bolts they get in that area. They're not teeny tiny ones like we get up here.
They overbuilt them just to make sure that the rockets aren't a more attractive target.
Makes perfect sense.
And there's that call
stage 2 loading is
both
complete.
first and second stage fully loaded with LOX.
Oh, internet
now
hiccup.
That LOX loading is complete. We will clear out the LOX line.
Almost a full minute.
And you can kind of see some of that venting happening, as I mentioned. Those white
jumped
clouds,
about a half a minute
from the LOX hitting the warmer ambient air and turning into gas.
Okay, here we go.
The next event coming up is Falcon 9, going into startup just around T-minus 1 minute.
Would be now.
It's a shame SpaceX doesn't have a rocket company that could put more satellites for the internet up in outer space.
They're working on it.
And there's that call out. Next call out will be from the launch director.
And at 30 seconds, you really start seeing a lot of venting from the rocket.
Yeah, you can't have an overpressure.
SiriusXM LD is go for launch.
And awesome call out. Sounds like we are go for an on-time liftoff today.
Chris, they can't use
and
the
with all
Merlin.
Systems go for launch. Let's listen into the terminal count and watch as Falcon 9 takes the SXM-8 satellite into
engine.
orbit.
Well, maybe they let the copyright expire.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe they just got permission.
Yeah, we're taking this to full screen.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition and liftoff.
Stage 1 chamber pressures are nominal.
That's good. Nominal chamber pressures.
Nominal is always good.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
We got some low clouds tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Open that iris. Let's see the rocket.
Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off with the SXM-8 satellite from Space Launch Complex 40. Now the next event coming up. Next event coming up here is Max Q, and that is maximum aerodynamic pressure. That's the largest structural load that the vehicle will see on ascent. So we do power down the engines just slightly in preparation. And then
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
After Max Q, we will throttle them back up.
It's almost there to Max Q.
I think you hit it just a little early.
Yeah.
Somebody had their foot on the gas pedal.
Yeah, because Max Q would be breaking the sound barrier, wouldn't it?
There's that call out that we just passed through Max Q.
Not necessarily.
In about a couple of minutes, we will have 3 events happening within seconds of each other. That'll be main engine cutoff, or what we call MECO, stage separation, and SES1, or second engine start 1. Now, main engine cutoff is where we shut down all 9 of those M1D engines on that first stage. That slows the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation. Stage separation is where the first stage
the MVAC chill means
the second
they're
stage.
priming
and
the
first
engine.
stage will begin to make its way back home to Earth for landing. And stage 2 will continue on its journey with the third event, SES1. Now that's where the MVAC engine on the second stage lights up and propels
Man, this
the
is a
second
good
stage
camera
along
angle.
with the SXM-8 satellite to orbit. We're just under about 20 seconds away from those 3 events. Again, that is MECO, stage separation, and SES1.
And 50.
That is making some time.
Are we there yet?
That's inside the fairing, right?
That's looking up the tailpipe of the second engine.
There's the second engine.
Yep.
Stage separation confirmed.
Whoa, there we go.
Yep. Second
And
engine start.
MVAC ignition.
Wow.
And that bugger will start to glow. Yeah,
and stage separation.
it heated
On
up
your left-hand
faster than I
screen is a
expected.
view of first stage. On your right-hand screen, you could see that MVAC engine on the second stage, glowing bright red. You also got a little glimpse of the green T-TEB ignition for SES1. Now we're coming up on fairing deploy here, just under 10 seconds away.
Vehicle's on a nominal trajectory.
Nominal trajectory, that's a good sign.
The only problem with night launches is that you can't really see the darn rocket land on the boat.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Okay.
And there we
that was
got
the fairing,
a nice
right?
live visual
Yep,
of
that was the fairing.
fairing halves deploying from second stage.
And those
As a
fairings.
reminder, this was the first flight for both fairing halves, and we will be
Oh, they're
attempting to
new,
recover
okay.
these new fairing halves with the help of our recovery vessels, Go Navigator.
Go Navigator and Go Searcher is what she just said.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are brand new. So SiriusXM shelled out an extra $6 million on the launch.
Wow.
But they got their logo.
Cost that much, but
they got their logo on the
stage
fairing.
Head
So.
towards its targeted orbit. Stage 1 will execute
10,000
2
mile
burns in order to
kilometers
make its
per
way
hour.
back to
Yeah.
Earth. The first of those 2 burns is called the entry burn, and that's where we light up 3 of the 9 M1D engines. Now this helps to slow re-entering back into the upper parts of the Earth's atmosphere. And then after the entry burn will be the second and final burn, and that is the landing burn.
Lost
This
telemetry
is
on
a
stage
single
1.
engine
There it
burn
is.
that brings the vehicle speed down rapidly in order to touch down on our drone ship. Again, today we will be attempting to land on just read the instructions.
It is very difficult to see both telemetries at the same time. I need to use separate eyeballs.
If you're just catching up with us, we had a successful launch of Falcon 9 from
Which
Cape
is
Canaveral
just
Space Force
absolutely
Station's 40
gorgeous.
launch pad. And now you're looking at a live view of Falcon 9's Stage 2 as it delivers the flight to orbit. Stage 1 is currently cruising back to our drone ship, just read the instructions in the Atlantic Ocean.
Well,
and as a reminder, today's mission is for SiriusXM, carrying the SXM-8 satellite to its targeted orbit.
Falcon 9 continues to follow a nominal trajectory.
And SXM-8 is the 12th satellite to be launched for SiriusXM service. It transmits 73 decibel watts at peak power, which is 20 million watts of power. Now, deploying the unfurlable reflector is like opening a large umbrella in space. And a very large umbrella, it's about 9 meters or 29 feet, which is taller than the average 2-story house. Now, with the solar arrays deployed, the length of these satellites is about the same length as a 737 airplane. And we're coming up on entry burn on the first stage, just under 10 seconds away or so.
Well, something's happening there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Those are attitude
Yeah.
checks, right?
Yeah, they're not big.
There's the engine.
Yep.
Yeah, they're burning in.
There you heard the call out, and on your left-hand screen, you could see that the entry burn has begun on the first
Look at
stage.
that speed drop. That's, yeah.
Seconds or so. And again, it helps to slow the vehicle down as it's entering back into the Earth's atmosphere.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
And what
And
that
again, there's that call out, and you can see on your left-hand screen that the entry burn has.
and those
Your right-hand
fins you see
screen,
glowing
stage
is
2
from
still looking
the
nominal.
friction of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And we're just about a minute away from the
They've got to
landing
be
burn
heavy
on
duty
the
to
first
stand
stage.
that, not melt.
And right before the landing burn
They're
will
cast
be second engine
titanium.
cutoff one or
Same
SE
thing
or
the
SECO one.
SR-71's made out of.
And that's where we shut down that MVAC engine that you're looking at on your screen there. The reminder, we do have 2 burns of this MVAC engine for today's mission, and that helps get
Second stage is in terminal guidance.
that helps get the SXM-8 satellite to its final orbit.
Stage 1 transonic.
Okay, it's slower than the speed of sound now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heather saying that's the
Yeah, a couple
RCS
events
thrusters.
happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back to back
Thank
here.
you.
SECO 1.
Hello,
meters
Heather.
forward,
System has saved.
Oh,
followed
under
by
4
the landing
kilometers
burn.
altitude for the first stage.
Stage
Under
1
3 now.
Landing burn startup.
Oh,
Look at that speed.
you
Looks like
really.
the landing burn has begun on first stage.
It's got to slow
see-
down fast in a short amount of time.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's doing it.
Here it
Sounds like
goes.
we also got a good orbit on the
parking
second
The engine
stage.
glow.
Stage 1 landing like deploy.
And of course, the camera kept going. Wow.
Yeah.
And we
Yep.
have touchdown of Falcon 9. Falcon
On
9
the
has
board.
Stage
just
1 landing confirmed.
just landed on our drone ship. Just read the instructions. Today marks the 87th overall successful recovery of an orbital class rocket, as well as SpaceX's 125th successful mission to date. Now, while that was all happening, we did have a successful SECO 1, and a call out for good orbit. So now that second stage is going to coast in this orbit or so. So we'll see you back here at T plus 25 minutes for the second stage relay.
All right. I'm going to pull that down. And for everybody watching on Armchair Rocket Science, we're going to drop off right now. For everybody watching on our other show called Stupid O'Clock, we will keep rolling. And for everybody on Armchair Rocket Science, we'll come back for the satellite deployment when that happens. So thank you. We'll see y'all at satellite deployment on Armchair Rocket Science in just a few minutes. Y'all have a good night. All right. We're clear of that.
All right, we're back to Stupid O'Clock.
Yeah, we're back to Stupid O'Clock for what they say, 30 minutes?
25.
25? Okay. Yeah, it'll just be one of those. I mean, I can pull it up real quick so we can do the
Oh, Lord,
deployment.
yeah. No problem.
How do you like my scroll rolling across the bottom, Lewis?
Hope it does some good.
course, I found out what our strikes were. Finally. 2 of them were John's fault.
Oh, thanks.
When he shared the prints from Batman, the parade, that was one strike. The second strike, John just had his TV on. And it picked up the audio in the background. It picked up the audio from that. And the third one was when, from the Helicon show, when I showed the Alfred Hitchcock, the jar. At the time it was aired, it was under public domain. NBC Universal bought the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, because it's going to be airing on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Bought it after Helicon had finished.
Yes.
Then we got the strike.
Because they copyrighted it, and the strike was retroactive to previous uses. Now, if somebody had a Ouija board and Alfred Hitchcock was to sue him for it.
Yeah. And Carly says she's not going to tell on Heather.
I wouldn't be able to imagine anything that Heather has ever done that would need to be told on.
I know one thing. She got her diploma.
Well, she's supposed to be asleep. Oh, but yeah, that was interesting. I mean, it's just, to think about it, it's only been since, I think, 2017 that they landed their first rocket. And this is now the 87th successful landing.
They've
I don't
made
care
so
how
much
many
more
launches
progress.
they make. It's always going to be fascinating. It's always going to be worth watching.
Yeah, but they've made more progress in the last few years than
NASA has in the last 20.
Yeah. Well, they've launched more rockets in the last. Well,
3
they
years.
just said they've launched more rockets this year than they did all of 2019.
Yep. And it's only 4 or 5 months in, 6 months.
6 months,
Well,
yeah, but
5
it's
full months.
just the first week of the 6 months. So,
Yeah.
And according to what I'm seeing here, let me look real quick. On June 17th, they're going to launch another one.
Wow.
they're definitely working very hard toward this rapid turnaround stuff. So,
oh yeah,
and that's exactly what you need if you want to maintain any kind of progress whatsoever.
To be a spacefaring civilization, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, this is what about the Starship that they're building. Super Heavy is the booster. Starship is the second stage rocket. If they launch an empty Starship orbital, there will be more cubic feet on the Starship than in the International Spaceship.
Serious
space station.
Wow.
That's how much. That's how big Starship is.
Probably more available square feet inside Starship than there has been on any or all of the space stations we've had to date combined.
Okay, so the first orbital shot for SpaceX, they had the Tesla go up, right?
No, their first orbital was a 500-pound chunk of cheese.
Oh, okay.
On the Falcon 1. They sent another 500-pound, no, they sent a 1,000-pound chunk of cheese up on Falcon 9. On Falcon Heavy, they sent the Tesla Roadster.
So they got to put something in.
Oh yeah, there
in
will be.
Starship.
There will be. They're thinking of possibly putting a Tesla semi.
Wow.
With trailer.
Well, yeah. Be kind of useless without it. I mean,
No, when that thing goes up, they've got to play the song Space Truckers.
Yeah. Now the SN20 is pretty much going to be expendable. They're going to plop it in the Pacific Ocean, 62 miles north of Hawaii. Just because they don't want to risk trying to re-entry over Mexico.
Yeah. So it's gonna launch from Canaveral or from Boca Chica?
From Boca Chica.
Okay. And then it's going to go east
out
three quarters around the world, and then splash down north of Hawaii.
Yeah. They're actually going to hit the corridor between Cuba and South America. Is where they're aiming to go through. And then the booster's only supposed to land 25 miles off the coast of Texas.
So it will be following a similar trajectory or orbit as the space station.
Just about. SN20, wasn't that a Russian ICBM model? No. Well, I'm going to tell you,
Yes, it was.
Actually, SpaceX exists because of a Russian ICBM.
Okay. You want to explain that one?
Elon tried to buy 5 of them to send a mission to Mars just to prove you could grow stuff on Mars.
How is he planning on getting to Mars on an ICBM?
They laughed him out of the room and spit on his shoes, and he said, "You'll regret that." 20 years later, he took roughly $180 million a year out of Russian space program with Dragon.
Yeah, because now we don't have to pay them for a ride.
Yep. And like Heather says, hence the making of SpaceX. And in Russia, spitting on somebody's shoes is, the equivalent of saying something bad about your mother.
Just settle in, Dan. Did you get your meds?
Yeah, I got them about half an hour ago. They're just starting to. My hands no longer hurt. My back still does, but no big deal. I'm a big boy. I'm used to it. It's been a wonderful life so far. I'm hoping that it keeps continuing. So I don't care how much it hurts as long as the pain pills still work. And so far, I've been able to stick to over-the-counter stuff and not had to have a prescription. So I'm counting my blessings.
Yeah.
I really hate prescription stuff.
Because I'm on blood thinners.
Yeah. Mention to Heather, that other channel that we don't talk about that covers launches has already ended their broadcast. Of course, we ended our broadcast, but we're coming back.
Yep. Okay. What's the... Okay.
Yeah, like Chris says, it's meant to be derogatory and insulting.
Well, I don't speak Russian, but I understand they're really, really good at insults in that language.
Probably so. Probably so. All right, I'm sitting here. We've got 10 viewers showing. We got
Hey.
we got 3 on Stupid O'Clock YouTube. We got 3 on the Stupid O'Clock Facebook. Now 4 on where are we getting the 10 from?
Are we still on Dan's page?
We're on a Pelian page, but nobody's watching.
Nobody's watching. I don't know where we're getting the extra views from. Hey, there's Nick Tucker.
Hey, Nick.
Hey,
How
Dan.
you doing?
Working on a 3D rendering. I thought it was third rendering. A 3D rendering.
Oh. John, I was doing some research on James Oglethorpe, the namesake of Fort Oglethorpe.
Yes.
Did you know that he founded the state of Georgia?
Well, I did, but I live here.
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah. Oglethorpe is very important down here.
And he was kind of a bad boy.
Oh,
he had just been elected to the House of Commons back in jolly old England, and he almost wasn't able to take office because in a drunken brawl he killed a man and spent 5 months in prison. Okay? Before he was cleared of murder charges through the influence of a powerful friend and released from prison, and he was able to take his office in the House of Commons. Also, he had a friend who died in a debtor's prison. Okay, so he started a commission to investigate debtors' prisons, and his whole idea of starting a new colony was to be able to. The colony would be a place to send the unemployed and unemployable. So
which explains a lot about Georgia today.
Georgia has not changed one whit from its inception.
I was about to point out that, yes, Georgia, it was, in common with Australia, a prison colony, but Georgia was a debtor's prison.
Not a criminal prison. Yeah.
Well, believe me, the two go hand in hand quite nicely even today.
Yeah. But we were also cannon fodder because the British Empire wanted a new colony placed between the affluent Carolinas and the Spanish-ridden Florida. So they wanted a buffer zone. So whoever was sent over here was going to have to work and soldier.
And you know what happened? We discovered Daytona and said, screw that, we're going south for a week.
It said, although initially there was no set location for the colony, Oglethorpe settled on America on April 1st. It soon became clear that the colony south of Savannah River would be supported by the House of Commons as it could provide a buffer between the prosperous Carolinas and Spanish Florida. And Oglethorpe picked the region on June 26th. People sent to the colony would serve as both soldiers and farmers, making the colony South Carolina's first line of defense.
And people bitch when we shoot shotguns at hurricanes. I mean, that's why they put us here.
Yeah, we're supposed to be crazy and gun happy. I mean, it's in the damn paperwork.
So, James Oglethorpe was the founder of Georgia and also its first British governor.
We had an on-time liftoff at 12:26 a.m. Eastern Time from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Stage 1 returned back to Earth and touched down on a drone ship. Just read the instructions, and this was the third flight and landing for this specific booster. Our second stage
We're back
is
on
still
Armchair
looking
Rocket
good
Science.
on nominal
We're getting ready for
I see that. Thanks for warning.
And now it's getting ready for SES2 in a few seconds here. SES-2 is second engine
Uh-oh.
start 2. And again, as I mentioned earlier,
believe
That was the
was
warning
planned.
label.
burns
That was the warning
for
label.
this
No
second
smoking.
stage in order to get the SXM-8 satellite to its final orbit. And we're just about 20 seconds away from SES-2. That burn will last just about 35 seconds or so long, and will be followed by SECO-2, or second engine cutoff 2.
I love the speed.
26,000 kilometers an hour. Now watch how quick it changes.
At 241 kilometers altitude.
Evac ignition.
And they're getting up to
And there you can visually see on your screen that second stage ending back up.
And currently, the ISS is
And this is the second of 2 burns.
over an ocean, so I can't
About
tell.
30 or so seconds long.
31,000 kilometers per hour.
yeah, they're getting up to 285 speeds now. Let's hope
33.
let's hope the traffic's light. Oh,
And
leveled off.
And there we have confirmed SECO-2, or second engine cutoff 2. And we did get a good orbit. So we now have another coast phase. We have another coast phase before we can deploy the SXM-8 satellite from Falcon 9's second stage. So we'll see you back here around T-minus 31 minutes. 3T plus 31 minutes.
Okay. We'll just sort of drop that down for right now.
Okay.
And for everybody.
Look at that. The top one is the International Space Station. The bottom one is
the satellite.
Yeah.
Oh. And the satellite's going faster than the,
a little bit faster,
space
yeah.
station.
Yeah.
A lot faster.
I bet they've got their telescopes out looking at the darn thing.
At the altitude that they're at, they might be able to see it.
Yeah. Well, it's also in sunlight, so maybe not.
Well, they're just crossing the Terminator now.
Oh, okay.
Best time to see it.
So they probably did get to see it.
Not now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. They're at
Crossing Terminator.
33,560 and dropping. That's not good.
Is the altitude staying stable?
Altitude is going up, so that is a good sign.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if they're dropping a little bit of speed, as long as the trajectory is still inclined to the vertical a bit.
Right now, Hawaii is right between the two.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they're already almost made a lap.
Yep.
Yeah, they're working on the first orbit.
Well, no, according to this, they're just now, according to the
crossing Africa.
Yeah,
Hold
just
on.
crossing Africa.
Hold on a second. I'm looking. No. Oh, could that be the Chinese space station?
Probably.
It is yellow.
Yeah.
John got it.
So it should be red.
No, that would be Russia.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't
color is
identify
bamboo
it.
in space? I mean,
I just assumed, but yeah, that may be the Chinese space station.
I really was not
Because
aware that
I'm
they actually had any of
looking
it
at the
up yet.
orbit. I'm looking at the orbit. It doesn't show where it launched from. It's just a continuous orbit.
Okay.
So, yeah, whatever that is was already up there.
Yeah, Chris went back to the Oglethorpe and says made the agreement with Chief Tamagotchi on
Tomachichi.
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi, a pet.
The
that's what
Yamaha tribe or Creek Indian.
on the site. Savannah is one of the planned cities in the colonies. Okay, interesting news. Thank you, Chris.
Well, the Savannah River was a major.
It was a major port.
Landmark. Well, it was a major landmark. Things were referred to as north or south of the Savannah River. It was, yeah.
Well, it's the biggest thing that Georgia's got going to the Atlantic. So,
where is the Sewanee River? I remember crossing that going to Florida. It's in Florida. Okay.
North Florida, right before you get to the Georgia border.
Okay. Because I remember I've only been to Florida once in my life, which I need to fix. But I remember going down, and when they said you're crossing the Suwannee River, it had the musical notes on the sign.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Dan, here she's back.
XM8 mission.
All right.
If you're just joining us, here's a quick recap of today's milestones. We had a successful liftoff from Space Launch Complex 40 at 12:26 a.m. Eastern Time. From there, we had a successful stage separation, recovered this first stage for the third time on our drone ship. Just read the instructions.
I don't understand
and
something,
have had
though.
2 successful
What's that?
second
Well, the
stage
current
and back
altitude is
engine
500
startups.
kilometers.
Now
Yes.
we are coming up on the
Geostationary
deployment
orbit
of
is
SXM-8,
22,300 miles.
SiriusXM's next generation satellite.
How are they
Also
going to
sit in
get
for
the extra
call out
altitude?
for payload deploy coming up
Well, if
here
you
in a
watch,
few
it's
seconds.
still going up.
And they're going to do another boost, I think. But
And this satellite has its own thruster too.
Okay.
Separation confirmed.
Oh, there it goes.
And see the
Holy
little
And
thruster?
here you can
Yeah, I
see
see
on
that.
your screen the SXM-8 satellite drifting away from second stage, confirming
spinning
payload
slightly.
deploy.
I'm
An
sure they have
awesome view
attitude
of the satellite drifting away.
jets.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably going to fire that rocket here in just a second or two.
With a successful separation of the SXM-8 satellite from Falcon 9's second stage, that will bring our webcast coverage to a close. To the Range and Federal Aviation Administration, thank you for supporting today's mission. And of course, to all of our viewers, thank you for supporting our mission by tuning in to today's webcast. We'll see you next time.
And thank you everybody for tuning in also to our commentary on the Spacecast. Again, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, which we just did, news, which is sort of what we did, teaching, scholarships, education, and research. Thanks everybody for tuning in on the payload deployment of
And just
the
in
SpaceX.
time to close out the stupid o'clock.
All right. Thank you. Good night, everybody, on the Armchair Rocket Science. We will see you at the launch pad, possibly around June 17th, for another SpaceX launch. Thank you and good night. All right. Now we are going to close out. I think we're not even going to play the intro to the after show. We're just going to keep running. Lewis, I think you're going to duck out on us. Is that right?
You guessed that right. My eye is burning so bad.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Thanks for the commentary and news and all that. You really helped make Stupid O'Clock a great show.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Good night, Lewis. We appreciate it.
Thursday.
See ya.
And go ahead and add my personal channel back into the after show.
All right. I'm just as soon as I can get.
Well, he's going to knock a bunch of them things out here in just a second.
Yeah. Well, that's not what I tried to do. There we go. And I got to get that closed down. I can't get it, grab hold of it. There we go. All right. I'm just trying to get stuff cleared out on my side. Okay.
Okay. You want me to go ahead and kill the ticker?
Yeah,
you're
go
busy?
ahead. Yeah, go ahead and clear the ticker. Okay. All right. There we go.
Oh, well. I hadn't
roll
even
back.
found it yet.
All right.
I hadn't scrolled down that far.
And we're going to bring, I guess, bring your page back.
Yeah.
All right. And welcome back, everybody, to Dan's page. This is sort of like Last Man Standing, but it's the stupid after show.
Yep. And this is just as good, but
stupider.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So.
And we're going to go ahead and roll that in to where it says the stupid after show. Let me find the logo for the stupid after show.
Is
right there.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right.
And come back to the comments. Carly said, "Good night, Lewis."
Pop that back up.
And Chris Walker says, "The Okefenokee Swamp and the Florida border." I guess that's where the Swanee River. I guess the Swanee River fills up the Okefenokee.
There's a lot of rivers, actually. There's a... I can't remember what the first river is you cross as you're coming down 75, but Swanee River is the second river you pass on 75.
Yep, and I don't know if the Okefenokee is where the river goes or where the river comes from, because it is a huge little mud puddle. So I imagine it's got a river or two coming out of it.
Well, Dan, I'm going to tell you how long it's been since I've been to Florida. You had to get off because 75 ended and had to go through, I think, Cartersville and around and come back in.
Good Lord, that sounds like the 60s.
77.
Oh, man. I went to an SCA event in the mid-70s, and I was able to stay on 75 all the way down to, what was it? Oh, Lord, there's two cities that are real close together down there. And on the west coast of Florida. Can't remember exactly which ones, but it's way below Panama City, let me tell you that.
Yeah, Chris says you had to get off on Highway 41 because 75 ended. Where if you're going down 75, where it says the Burt Lance Highway, that's where it ended. And you know how long it took them to have the first accident when they opened it up?
About 15 minutes, probably.
35.
35? Well, you know, I have no faith in human nature. I think it was Tampa, St. Pete in that area. That's on the western side of Florida. Wait a minute, John will Google it.
Oh, I'm actually looking at something else. Oh.
And Brian K. Morris gave us a big heart of love on the Armchair Rocket Science.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, Brian's one of these stand-up dudes. One of these days, I'm going to string all these cables up in the air where I don't have to worry about them getting under my armpit and making noises through the microphone as I shift back and forth in my chair.
And Chris says... Okay, I'm getting an echo. Chris Walker says Georgia was the first state to have its original interstate system finished.
Oh, yeah. Right. It ain't finished. Let me tell you, it ain't finished now. They're still working on it.
Now, let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. You know what the interstate system was developed for, right?
Yeah. Moving the military around in case the U.S. got invaded.
Do you know the first time it was used for its intended purpose?
Well, seeing as how we were never invaded, no.
The first Gulf War, deployment for the first Gulf War.
Wrong.
Well, we have a veteran here. We do know
the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
They used it to get all those troops. They used trains and the freeway system to get all the troops down to Florida and various other places.
Now there are places in Georgia where the roads are arrow straight for miles, and the only deviation is up and down hills. And every time I drive those roads, I'm going, you know, these uphills would be great for launching an airplane.
No kidding. If you've ever been with the National Guard and you've gone from Tennessee down to Fort Stewart.
Yeah, I've been that way.
Yeah. And you have to go through that Macon area. That whole area It just puts you to sleep.
Emergency runways, right?
Just terrible.
Well, it wouldn't be if we needed them.
No, I mean just being on them for days at a time.
It's boring to drive, but
Chris Walker says the Lake Altoona landowners were some of the last hurdles for the completion of 75.
Mm-hmm. What was his name? Former Georgia governor, a bright, unpleasant gentleman, to paraphrase what I originally wanted to say.
Jimmy Carter?
No, Jimmy Carter's one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. One of his predecessors.
Lester?
Oh, yes, it were Lester. He bought up hundreds of acres of land around Athens, and they were never able to finish the bypass loop, all the way around Athens, like 285, but smaller, because Lester wouldn't sell it until he got his money's worth, and he died. And then his family sold off what was in the will, and they finally were able to finish the 10 loop around Athens. I have seen Lester Maddox in person several times, close enough to be in the same room with him if we hadn't been outside at a 4th of July parade.
Well, 24. I'm getting echo. Is that from you, John? Echo, 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 echo. I don't know where it's coming from.
Why would it start now?
I don't know. It just started. I don't know what it was.
Well, I don't have any speakers going except for the headphones. So.
Excuse me. 24 was actually supposed to come around Lookout Mountain and head through St. Elmo out towards and then dogleg out through and up through Fort Oglethorpe to meet 75. That was the original plan. But the mayor of Chattanooga at the time convinced them, if you can have all the dirt you need off this big hill called Cameron Hill. Cameron Hill at one time looked like Lookout Mountain, a miniature Lookout Mountain. They moved all that dirt to build the freeway around and go up through the ridge cut because they convinced them, look how close you are.
Uh-huh.
And then they cut through what's called the ridge cut. They cut probably 500 to 600 feet off Missionary Ridge to get 24 through.
I bet that took a lot of dynamite.
They should have put tunnels through there. They really should have.
It should have been a tunnel.
Yeah.
But tunnels and freeways, for some reason, they don't like to do.
Yeah. Well, now, having lived in Tennessee and having driven up through some of the places where they took 1,000 feet off a hillside in order to keep from having a really steep grade on the road, that's not the safest kind of thing that you want to be driving through. I mean, you do have all these watch for falling rock signs, and that's not looking out for some lost Indian brave, as the old story goes. No, this is because sometimes the hillside comes to little bitty pieces, and sometimes those little bitty pieces are about as size of a house.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of footy under them.
You mean like I-40 between Knoxville and Asheville?
Yep, that's a perfect example. And there are even others up between Knoxville and Lexington on 75 and 441. Weird fact: 441 goes through Athens, Georgia. If you stay on 441, you eventually wind up going through Knoxville and all the way up to Lexington. It was really strange to be having these 6-lane roads where, when I was a kid, it was 2 lanes, and the old 2-lane roads are still there, but they're off to the side of the actual superhighway. You can see it.
That don't make sense.
Well, you know.
No, I'm looking right now. StreamYard's telling me we've got 8 people watching, and it's showing us the list of live viewers, and I'm only counting 5 that they're showing, so I don't know where the other 3 are.
Hyperspace.
And Sandy Button, does that name ring a bell to you, Dan?
Yes, it does.
Okay, they gave us a big like. And Brian Sartain and Brian K. Morris gave us the big heart. So I'm trying to figure out, I guess one of these is... Okay, now it says there's 9. Okay, that came off of my page. Okay. Whoever just jumped in on my page, welcome to the Stupid After Show. We're just talking about the freeway system right now and how it used to be.
Yep, and we will change subjects faster than you can drop a hat.
What about those Braves?
We're not going to touch that one.
Hey, like I said, go Braves and take the Falcons with you.
Amen. And I live in Georgia.
And shoot, you could even drag him Yellow Jackets while you're there.
Yeah, I'm really not a big fan, but that is a good school for engineers.
Oh, wow. It has been a day for sure.
Yep. We actually did not get rain, but we had humidity condensing off the roof and dripping onto the yard. So it's been one of those, if you don't have a dehumidifier or an air conditioner or both, it's been miserable here. But it is finally cooling off, and we might get some rain later tonight. Later tonight. Hell, it's already tomorrow. We should have gotten some rain yesterday night, but we're hoping to get a little bit to reduce the humidity before dawn.
Humidity.
Yeah,
There
really.
goes the echo again.
It ain't the heat, it's the stupidity.
That's the truth.
I hear somebody's vacuum cleaner going.
Sounds like John's dot matrix printer going again. Yep, it's John, because I muted him and it went away. Now it's back.
Well,
it's my video fan.
Do what?
It's my video fan.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well,
John, Chris said he got some rain after 7 yesterday.
Well, that's good. That's good.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Ow! Okay.
Because we don't need the extra water in the creeks and rivers, but getting it out of the air is definitely a plus. Let me tell you. Humidity down here is pretty much the same as Chattanooga in July at a LibertyCon at the Choo Choo. If you can't breathe underwater, you're going to learn.
Oh man, they're really going to turn this pad around. They've got 10 days
before the next launch
from that pad.
Wow. Well, Get the scrubbing bubbles out and
And
notify Mr. Clean.
and 10 days after that, they got another one.
Hey, if the faster they can get it to go on a regular basis successfully with no rapid unplanned disassemblies, the more satisfied I'm going to be. I have lived all my life waiting on something like this for rocket launches to go up every week or every 2 weeks or whatever. I'm tired of waiting around for 3 to 5 years between something going up.
Yeah, well, here's the best way to describe the rocket industry. Northrop Grumman, Boeing, ULA, all these, the classic rocket launch companies.
Mm-hmm.
They were your Mercedes, the Renault, the Daimler Benz and all that. Elon is your Henry Ford.
Yep.
I don't know if that's quite fair because
he's certainly not Volkswagen.
No, but if you look at the Atlas rockets, for instance, heck, we're still they've been using those things for 70 years now, in one form or another, still using them.
And they launch for a year. They launch for a year.
Yeah.
This is Elon's 19th launch this year.
Yeah. How many in the last 2 years? I mean, include the tests, include the pressure tests. How many have they actually done?
Well,
I mean, even the ones that Rudd.
Yeah, well, this was the 87th landing of a Falcon 9 tonight. I think it was the 111th launch of the Falcon 9. They launched 8 of the Falcon 1s since 2010.
Somebody in the other companies needs to be taking notes.
Well, Starlink is making such a big stink that Viasat is suing the FCC for allowing them to launch so many satellites.
Oh, how dare they be successful?
In the lawsuit, it actually states it creates an unfair competition.
Think of it as evolution in action. If you can't compete, die.
Now, here's the funny thing. They say they can't launch. It's Nick Tockard is coming in. The great Nick Tockard.
Guys. That intro. Thank you. We'll try that again. But I do love that intro. How goes? And love the White Star.
Thank you.
The White Star?
Yeah.
The White Star, the ship behind him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're talking about how SpaceX is getting the other launch providers and satellite internet companies to suing the FCC for allowing SpaceX to be so successful.
Yes, you heard that correctly.
It's creating an unfair competition.
Yes, unsuccessful companies should be allowed to persevere when successful companies are actually making some money off of the stuff. Being successful, I mean.
And here's the biggest thing. The company suing them hasn't even launched their first satellite, won't launch their first satellite for 2 more years.
Won't launch their first satellite ever is more like it.
Oh, God. Now, forgive me because I spent the last 4 hours, 5 hours, something like that, merely 3D rendering a project that I had done many years ago that I found out was corrupted. So, what in the... I'm trying to be nice because this isn't that stupid o'clock. So I can't speak like I may want to. But what do they think they're doing? You know, I mean, I'm going to sound real libertarian here, but I mean, if they've got the beans, you know, if they don't have the beans to put the rockets up, hey, get a better space program. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, get good or shut up. Because, like, they're...
Oh, wait, this is the after show.
Yes.
But this is
Shit,
the broadcast.
or get off the pot. You know,
this is the broadcast after show. This isn't the after show, unless, yeah, the number's still moving. So I'm catching myself because it's it's after midnight. I got Dan Hollifield on the same screen as me, and colorful verbiage just wants to come out. And I try to be nice on the other shows, but good Lord in heaven, how dumb do you have to be? Well, I'm gonna sue you. You know, that's like me suing Tesla because maybe someday I want to make a electric powered golf cart, and Tesla's dominating the electric car industry.
No, I'll tell you exactly what it's like. It's like me suing Larry Niven because he sells more books than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
No. You know how everybody has, like, the word snowflake has been bounded around. That is too friendly. This needs to go back to the terms of suck it up, Buttercup. Okay. I mean, we need, if we want to play big boy games, let's be a little more unsubtle and explain to these people, I'm sorry, you suck. I have no problem with, I don't hold the fact that you are not as set up as the rest against you, but take a flying at a rolling donut already, okay? Because you're just not going to get anything.
You had to censor the word leap?
No, I did not. That was not the four-letter word of that particular family expression, but...
well, Nick, see, we were talking earlier about the formation of SpaceX and how a Russian ICBM, actually 5 Russian ICBMs, is why SpaceX exists.
Oh, is that the 5 that never left the ground for a Brud?
No, that's the 5 Russia refused to sell Elon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Totally different concept.
Yeah. Yeah. And spit on his shoes and said, "You're stupid. You'll never build a rocket to go to space."
Oh, good God.
I think someone has been shown.
I believe that Daddy Vlad is sitting there going, contemplating his ricine umbrellas. Yeah, I'm going to throw some deep cuts with that remark.
And that's what the general told Elon, and spit on his shoe and laughed him and told him to get out of his office.
Well,
and Elon says on the plane trip back, he goes, "He just pissed me off."
This is what happens when you piss an American off who actually has resources and brains enough
the
to
problem
make
is,
a difference.
Elon isn't American. Elon is actually legally an African American.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hell, I'll adopt him.
Legally, if Elon fills out,
older than him, shit.
If Elon fills out an application for anything, legally he can check African American.
Well, Lindsay could check Venezuelan, although the most recently deceased president of that beleaguered nation had denied anybody who ever lived for another country their birthright. So, yeah, Lindsay actually has 3 different. What's the term, Nick? You
nationalities,
citizenships. She is Venezuelan by birth. She is British by genetics, and she is American by
the grace of God.
Will.
Sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. You can't set that up that nice for me. I'm sorry. We've already pissed off the Russians and made fun of the I'm sorry. That came from right here. It's getting that part where
Now, Nick, here's the best thing about it. Because that one general didn't, work a deal with Elon. 20 years later, it now costs the Russian space program over $180 million a year in lost revenue.
I'm hearing some funky music in my head right now.
And get this. NASA is actually saving another $30 million per seat through SpaceX. They paid Russia $80 million a seat. They're paying SpaceX SpaceX goes $50 million. That's a good price. Do you know what they're paying Boeing? $95.
Hey, you know what?
Don't sound like a good business practice to me.
If you can afford to undercut the competition, that's how you break them. Hate to say it. Now, see, I wanted to get a hold of you guys because this is in your bailiwick. In the next couple days, if it hasn't hit already, a really big report on. They don't use UFO anymore. They use unexplained aerial phenomena. UAP. Yep.
Yeah.
That's just dodging connotations.
Mm-hmm.
But so, what do you guys think about this? How it affects both the formation of the Space Force and how it affects corporate interests like our good buddy Elon?
Space Force. There's more to it than we're hearing. And the story they're telling is it's to streamline the military space programs.
Mm-hmm.
Taking that out of the Air Force budget because they get their own separate budget. The Air Force budget didn't drop. Space Force gets its own budget.
You know, I'm going to sound a little tinfoil hat, but I remember a story that came out in 2001 about $3 trillion. I want to say it's 3.4, but I'm sure it's $3 trillion going disappearing. And they were trying to figure out how this disappeared from the budget. 3 trillion with a T. Poof.
It's easy to explain.
Oh yeah.
You really think they pay $3 million for a toilet seat?
Well, see, the horrible thing is
$10,000 for a screwdriver.
The date that they released, they were investigating it, and I'm not making this up. And this isn't like tinfoil hat. It's just you gotta be crapping me. It was September 10th, 2001.
And like Chris says, I don't think it makes a big difference in the terms of SpaceX. Elon has pretty much set the goal to get the hell off the planet.
Well, it's interesting because I've been following some of the reviews, and they're all talking about transmedia aircraft. That's the big one that's getting discussed, and you'll be hearing it a lot.
That's a nice buzzword.
Yes, it is, isn't it? My problem is I am a multi-phase geek, and I'll be the first to admit it. I love all my spooky stories, and I've been following stuff for a long, long time. And it's kind of interesting that these are coming out of the blue, because in the late 90s, there were videos circulating of aircraft flying straight into the water. Like the new F-14s were flying, like they had footage of them flying straight, like whoop, into the water. And I'm wondering, if this might be a case of the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing or what, because it's really interesting to me.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the Falkland Islands War?
Yes.
As a science fiction writer, I designed submarine-launched aircraft. Pop up out of the water, do fighter stuff, pop
seen
down
that
in the
TV
water.
show. Had something to do with UFOs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only I used to design more from. Do you remember the space fighter from the Gil Gerard Buck Rogers?
Yeah.
It looked like that, but acted like the one from UFO. Pop up, do some shooting, pop down, mate back up with a submarine.
I'm sorry, I spaced out for just a second because when anyone ever randomly brings up the Gil Gerard Buck Rogers, my mind goes to Aaron Gray, and then like all thoughts kind of just go beep for a little bit. You know,
Welcome
I'm sorry,
to the
just,
Brotherhood.
Boop, boop. Oh, man, I'm a long-standing member of that particular club, but
Oh,
yeah,
if you've never seen Silver Spoons, there was an episode of her in a bikini digging
Yes,
in
there
the
was.
ground for a telephone. So
yes, there was. I'm a horrible person right now, and I'm okay with it. That's what happens when I've been staring at a screen, trying to make.
just don't stand up rapidly.
No, it wasn't that kind of fun. Tried to make a product software from 12, 14 years ago. Do what I want it to do because the new version has all these. You have to have you can use it, but if you want to use it to do something you're selling, you have to pay us $100 a year, and they're trying to backdate and you can't use old versions either. Explain to me how you can retroactively take a program and say, well, no, now you can't use old versions of our program and have them, actually work. No, you still owe us the contract. I'm like, I've had this thing in one form or another since 2009. What do you know?
Hell, I found out part of my 30-day ban. Were you listening to it when I was talking about that?
I actually heard it, but I think that the viewers might, however many are still here, might really enjoy it.
7 at the moment.
Well, hi, 7 of you.
One of my strikes was from NBC Universal when I aired The Jar from the Alfred Hitchcock Hour.
Yeah,
it was public domain.
That was based on the Ray Bradbury, the bell jar story, wasn't
Yes.
it? Yeah. Ray Bradbury's estate should have sued them over that.
NBC Universal bought the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, pulled it out of public domain in January of 2021.
Which is long after Halicon showed the
after
episode.
we aired it. And then they copyright striked the show retroactively.
That should not be legal. Not unless they're going to go after every shock theater horror movie host that has ever shown anything that someone else has bought later and claimed copyright over.
Which they probably will try at this point because people just absolutely suck.
Well,
I'm checking something right now.
Okay.
I think that it may actually be I'm pulling it up. Okay, it's still on Me TV.
without any lawsuit or copyright strike.
Which is sort of crazy because if you watch the MeTV and watch the channel, see the shows, MeTV is CBS.
MeTV is not. MeTV. It did. Wait a second. I thought MeTV was the cable expansion of Channel 26 out of Chicago, and it was an independent.
If you look at the programs, they're all CBS programs.
Really?
Twilight Zone, Carol Burnett, MASH, Gunsmoke, Adam 12.
Oh, that would bring in the other things that fit into the Adam 12 universe too.
Yeah.
Emergency.
Yeah.
What was the Rescue 51?
Well, that's Emergency.
Well, there was
the Jack Webb programs.
There was a hospital show and the EMT show.
Emergency was the EMT show. But
okay,
I was reading here. Let's see, MeTV is owned by Weigel Broadcasting. You see, they're marketed for classic television, and most of their classic TV is obtained primarily from the libraries of CBS Media Ventures and 20th Television.
Mm-hmm.
It's old CBS.
Yeah,
it is
the stuff that was on when I was a kid.
They are broadcasting in a joint venture with CBS Television. And they're also got another station called Movies that's a joint venture with Fox. So apparently, basically, they're just this Weigel company just tagging along with everybody.
Okay, if it works, if you can get the contract signed.
They did start out in Chicago.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Do any of y'all have Pluto TV? Watch Pluto?
Yeah.
No.
I wish Pluto would start a MASH channel. 24/7 MASH. I wouldn't even turn the TV off.
How many episodes of MASH were there?
Not enough.
Well, yeah.
Sorry. Like I said.
No. Seriously. Yeah, I agree. Not enough. But it went on for a sizable number of years and was quality every minute.
251.
I was just trying to figure out if you showed that 24/7, it wouldn't take that long to start repeating everything from the beginning again.
Ran for 11 years.
Hold on, let me back up real quick.
271. That includes the final episode, which was 2 hours. So basically 272 hours.
They've got 256 episodes.
256. Okay, my Google Foo says 251.
Oh, okay. I misremembered.
I'm looking at Wikipedia's MASH page, and they say 256.
Some of them may not be allowed to be shown because of sensitive content for the snowflake population of today. Because they were rather adult for a comedy. They did touch on some very, very sensitive subjects.
The first 3 seasons were 24 episodes. Seasons 4 through 6 were 26 or 25.
I'm seeing 25.
25. 7 was 26, and then they started dropping down. 25, 20, 22, and 16 and 11.
concentrating on quality rather than quantity. Yeah, and most of the folks were really ready to move on to other projects.
Now that song should be stuck in my head.
Well, just don't start singing it because we'll get a copyright strike.
Episode 256 was Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen.
Yep.
And
February 28th, 1983.
That was a 2-hour one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the 2-hour one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one where Hawkeye went crazy.
Well, yeah, it was the final episode. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Do you remember why he went crazy?
Exactly, yes. Not something I really want to discuss, but I remember it vividly, and I've only seen it once.
Yeah. I've seen it 3 times.
It's still disturbing every time you see it.
Oh yeah, that part is. And if it was coming on right now, I'd say good night, everybody. I'm going to watch the show. I mean, it's
there was one of the cable channels that was available in my neighborhood that would show 2 episodes a day, and another competing cable channel that would show another 2 episodes immediately afterwards. It's like they had an agreement that they wouldn't compete with each other. So if you knew what you were doing and you had the right cable contract, you could watch 4 episodes every day.
Hey,
Chris Walker says that's one of the most watched episodes ever.
Yep.
And it was. Yeah, John.
I'm looking at Wikipedia and they're talking about all the awards that MASH had won. And there's pretty much no award that they didn't win with the Emmys.
Yeah. I mean, if there was an award, they wound up winning it one year or another. And it was one of the highest quality acting and script writing and social commentary sort of things during the time period. And it might have been set in Korea, but they were talking about Vietnam, which really ruffled feathers with some folks. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I'm not used to self-editing very much anymore.
You're not wrong, because that show had some very, we'll say, interesting conversations in my household growing up.
I saw a program one time where they were talking about the actual Korean War MASH hospitals compared to what you saw on the show. And it's like the real MASH hospitals were like hundreds. There was a battalion-sized element, had hundreds of tents. Just huge operation. And said, yes, they were mobile, but they weren't that mobile.
Well, in the show, they only did a bug out, 3 times?
Something like that.
Yeah. And one was just because Frank found out that M meant mobile, so they moved them across the street. You don't remember that episode?
Yeah,
Dan?
they left Frank in charge.
I remember all of them. Believe me, I've seen it. I've seen the entire series, except for the final episode, like dozens and dozens of times. On the cable thing that I was talking about, they would not ever show the final episode. They get up to the next to the last one and start over again at the beginning.
Yeah.
I can't say that I blame them, in all honesty.
Yeah,
that was
an event.
Well, and you have to be prepared for it. You can't. That's not something like you can just walk into.
You can actually go to the filming location. Of course, the brush fires through California has burnt everything up, but some of the trucks are still there and burn up pieces. And they've got, little markers set out. But somebody thought, it would be a cool idea to re-rock the Goodbye with white rocks. and reset it all up. State of California arrested them for vandalism.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of what the horrible thing that happened to the set of Hogan's Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where they did some movie, and it was some kind of like Nazi chicks from outer space grade. Horrible film, and they ended up like burning the whole thing down. And it's like, really?
Well, we talked about it before. On YouTube, there's a guy named Rick 9G. I mean, he gives the history of Hollywood. I mean, episode by episodes on some shows, like I Love Lucy, Hogan's Heroes. Leclerc actually refused to take off his wedding band. That's why he wore gloves all the time. He was very married to one woman. But, he was the lover in Hogan's Heroes. So to keep that persona and not take off his wedding ring, he wore gloves all the time.
See, Hogan's Heroes is one of those programs where I absolutely adored Hogan's Heroes. But the more you know about, say, Bob Kane, the less I want to know.
Yeah.
And that's one of those where I cite, because there's been a lot of stuff like about what all's going on with Joss Whedon right now, and recently, and how they're saying whatever about him. And I think we really need to embrace more the death of the author. Like, I can enjoy this. I can I like Michael Jackson music from the old days, sure. Would I ever let my kid around him? No. But, were you alive? But, and it's just, I don't know. I don't.
Have you ever seen the biopic Autofocus?
The one on Bob Kane?
Mm-hmm.
No, I want to. I've heard it's good, but
it is good, but at the same time, it's very disturbing to have your childhood memories of the show face up against the reality of the people involved. And I do mean Bob. Everybody else on the show seemed to have been just absolutely exceptional people.
Oh yeah.
There were some. I probably should shut up before I get us in trouble.
Yeah. Chris Walker says Greg Kinnear's, I guess he's saying about the same way. But now the thing is, what Bob Crane was doing back then, today, if you criticized him for it, you would be anti-alphabet.
I don't know if what is the word? Addiction. It falls under that particular alphabet.
I think the term that Joe's looking for is the concept of slut shaming. And I don't know if that's one of those things that I'm not sure how much that applies to men, or how, because sometimes it's hard to judge how the rules of these sorts of discussions are currently standing. And that's not me, bashing anyone for anything. It's just me, like, sometimes I lose track of what the rules of the game are, so I just try to be a decent human being and keep trucking,
Yeah, the rules of the game are on a sliding scale, greased with the stuff that Chevy Chase used in Christmas Vacation.
And when you come
Do
right
you,
down,
do you remember that scene where he agrees?
I'm going to apologize again
Yeah.
because, as I said, I got distracted by Beverly D'Angelo.
Yeah.
But yes, the
sled scene.
Oh yeah, it's not. You have to understand, it's not Christmas if I don't until I get to see that movie. That's like a necessary film. I am multitasking and working on stuff, so you'll see me make this very focused. Mandy always thinks I'm mad when I'm working on something. What's that, Chris? I'm sorry, I don't have the comments turned on, so sometimes
Chris,
I miss when Chris is saying things.
Chris says it depends on the area of the country you're from, what's acceptable.
And the time period for that area of the country. Now, I was just about to say, this was Hollywood in the 60s. So as abhorrent as it may seem to somebody in the Bible Belt, for Hollywood, it wasn't that abnormal.
No.
And even today, it wouldn't be that abnormal, but they'd be better at keeping it quiet because they've got better press agents.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that's something you just stumbled into one of my biggest pet peeves. I was, among other things, a history major. People try to apply modern mores, modern
morals
things.
Mores is the right word. Mores is the right word.
And standards to a time when they weren't standard. I mean,
exactly.
There were times, like, I mean, to use a brutal and accurate one, there were times where samurai were not just, allowed, but encouraged to randomly cut people down just to keep their skills sharp. And we live in a very nice, very civilized world that I prefer. I prefer not having to worry about somebody chopping my head off for walking down the street. But you also can't be, reverse. Well, why aren't they all civilized? Well, they didn't figure it out yet. And it just,
Look at the Roman Empire. There were times when things that people would frown on today were not only normal, but actively encouraged and actually highly supported by those who were possessing political power.
Well, yeah, and I mean it's fascinating to see.
And now, the mores of the time and location change constantly as time passes, and you consider different locations, different aspects of civilization, and people nowadays tend to try and act as if there's one inviolable standard that should be applied throughout all history in all civilizations, and shit just don't work that way.
Yeah, and that's what often bothers me.
Hey, there is a time coming. I see a time coming that driving a high-performance gasoline-burning vehicle. You did what?
Oh, I absolutely see that coming.
Yeah. It'll be a capital crime. If you get caught driving a Corvette, burning gasoline, automatic death penalty. Yeah, I see it coming. And I also see 200-mile-an-hour electric cars coming, too.
Well, they're already out.
Well, yeah, but I mean, everybody has one that doesn't cost any more than a T-Bird in the 50s.
Well, see, that's the problem. We have false scarcity going on.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, you want to explain to me why lumber tripled to quadrupled overnight?
because a lot of people that were cutting lumber and working in sawmills could not go to work because of the virus.
Now, do you expect those prices to come back down anytime soon?
Fuck no, they've got the prices elevated now. The people who are making money are going to keep on making that money. I don't ever expect the price of anything to drop. I'm cynical that way. I do not trust human nature.
I'm sorry, I just got to drop the line. I look both ways before crossing a one-way street.
I look both ways before crossing a roundabout.
Oh God! No. See, roundabout. Why would you cross a roundabout? I've literally seen them go right over. Like, wah,
Well, I actually meant on foot, but
I know.
But when I'm driving, I still look both ways because I don't expect anybody to be able to know how to drive anywhere at any time. And I've been involved in several wrecks because I did not doubt the ability of everybody else on the road to be competent. As long as you doubt the competency of the people around you, you're safer.
Yes. Never underestimate the power of stupid people in large numbers.
God, even small numbers, believe me. All right, I'm going to go off to the fridge. I'll be right back. Let me kill the camera and the microphone.
But yeah, the day's coming that, of course, I gave the high performance car, but men actually going to work. How dare you go to work? Why do you not stay home and take care of the kids?
Now, see, that's interesting because I actually do stay home and I take care of my son.
But
no. It's interesting you say that because this is like right up my alley.
Yeah.
And I catch it from both sides. I catch it from people who tell me, you're not a man because you're being lazy. And then, but then I tell them, well, I'm also running a couple small businesses, and anybody who pays attention to me knows I've got more irons in the fire than, a three-armed smith. But, then I hear you should be focusing on your family. And it's like, there's no pleasing people, and they just want to dictate. And I'm looking forward to eventually humanity hitting a point where, if it's not your business, leave it alone.
Mm.
And I don't know if
you just okay. Keep going. I've got that train of thought that I'm holding.
Okay, no. Well, it's just it's real simple. Like, my life is my life, and while we're in a time where people of a lot of lifestyles are doing a lot of things, and I support anyone being themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also ask the courtesy that if I want to be the cliche fat dad in, Hawaiian shirts and New Balances, let me be the cliche fat dad. I'm not hurting you, And it's just, I don't know. I've been married too long to care what most people think. Yeah. I'm not looking for a woman. I'm not looking to make much money from anybody other than, read my books and stuff, but I don't know. It just annoys me that people feel so entitled to butt in to things that are none of their business. And it's always funny who...
What, that, if Nabisco quit giving out driver's license and Cracker Jack boxes, driving would be easier? Is that what you was reading, or are you reading something else?
Oh, no. I just watched... I am working on, is that here? Let me see if I can do this.
Where I'm going to go with is, I am tired of seeing these memes on the internet for, could you stay in such and such place for 6 months for $1 million?
Well, unless you've got the cabin on the lake and the damn $1 million, shut up.
No, I'm going to say this right now. The answer is no. No, they can't freaking do it because they can't stay in their damn house for 3 freaking weeks to try to control a virus.
No. People are gonna absolutely just like
What
I
are you
lost.
going?
Well, you want to see why I was scowling? I was dealing with this is the second miniature of the day, but
Is that the Monitor or the Merrimack?
that is long time
Yes,
fan.
I did get the reference. Yes.
Yeah, but this is just a light tank I'm designing for. I eventually want to make the miniatures for the big Stompy Robots line, and I am using a version of this program from the early aughts, so there should be no problem. But every time I go to use you see how that's spiraling out like that? That is not what that is supposed to do, and it's basically making my eyeballs bleed in rage.
Mm.
So I'm
Actually, I would love to have one of those 3D printed.
That's what I'm making this for. This is the second that I've many years ago I came up with a game actually. The big Stompy Robots game. I've talked about this for a while.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's been my dream to 3D print the miniatures and render them. And I had rendered them and my computer caught fire. And I recently have been working with Luke Stone on something, and there is a chance that these might I'm coming back around, so I'm redoing the designs from memory and trying to make, my improved eye a little better. And I spent a whole bunch of time earlier today working on this, but I don't know if I have the one I was working on. But yeah, this is whenever I'm working and you see me kind of squinting and looking focused off camera like this while we're doing a show or something, I'm tinkering around with one of these guys because I love miniatures. But like I said, I don't know if that's something you guys find interesting. I like this program because it's much more like sculpting than it is here. Let me just do something here. This doesn't matter. Let me move here. I can come over here, and normally it would give me the measurements, but I can just boop and say I want to make something that looks like a. Well, we'll just start with a van. You want to give me that angle? Fine. And I can just sit here and literally like whittle away at shapes. And it's just a good time. Let me see. That's the middle there. We'll go. Yeah, close enough. And I can just sit here and I can. Like, however I want this to look, I'll dork around with this a little bit. Boom. Spin it. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, I can make anything I feel like, again, essentially whittling out of this digital material. Here, we'll make it a little tracked rig. And normally I'm very careful with my measurements. You'll note they're in millimeters because I'm designing miniatures. But yeah, this is what I do when I'm not up to drawing because my hand doesn't like me. I can do this and it makes it easy. That's not what I want. But let's see. I'll show what the device is supposed to do. Hopefully over here, or I'll get very annoyed. So yeah, we'll go 8. Close enough. But
and then when you get one side done, you can copy it to the other side.
I'm sure you can. I can't remember how because I haven't used this program in quite a while. But you see how it made that little box that fit to shape?
Mm-hmm.
If I come over here, let me see. There's my tank. Right. And I rotate this happy tank around here. I had to start doing something like maybe putting an ammo pot on the side of this, because for some reason, when I tried to get the shape of, oh, actually, this I might be able to flank it. Might be able to do something clever. No, it won't let me do that. But come over here, right? You see, that is not related to anything. There's no reason for that to grab that shape.
Yeah, really, you don't need fins on that bugger.
So yeah, What you guys saw me look all kind of furious off to the side. It's because I was. Yeah, Chris Walker. That's exactly what this is based on. I have a love affair for half tracks. I think they are some of the coolest things that were ever made. That not practical, not rational. I just think they're cool. And I noticed that most miniature games, they go for modern looking things. So I wanted to give, like the spirit of Oddball got a hold of me. And I like to think that this thing has, 2 speeds forward and 3 in reverse, so that it can get out of trouble faster than it got into it. But yeah, this is, I have to design 9 units. Oh, thank you, Chris. And I'm hoping to either print them off myself or get them printed off as part of a program. But I have to use a very old version of the program because they're trying to retroactively put different things on it. And I really don't want to have to redesign these again from scratch, but I'll do it if I have to.
All right, if you put another track on the other side of that one, the new one that you just did in front of us, and then put a fin down the middle, it would remind me an awful lot of the tanks from Radar Men on the Moon.
I'm going to use some cheater lines here to make my life easier.
You said, channeling Oddball, and I was about to say, knock off the negative waves, man.
Hey, man, absolutely, man. That is the truth. And, hold on, because I got to do this.
Guys, I'm going to go to bed.
Hey, you have a good night, John. I didn't mean to take over a live stream of me diddling around.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Let's go ahead and sort of drop this off because we're already 3-9. And we're just going to end it with the after show wrap up because it's no. I'm going to tell you how we're going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up with the best wrap up that you can wrap anything up with.
Reynolds wrap.
So let's say good night, everybody.
Good night,
everybody.